Alright. Happy New Year, guys.
Knew it.
There we
There
go.
it is.
Oh, there it is.
Got it out
It's
of the
only
way.
appropriate to start the new year with a
I
very
don't know if
fine
appropriate is the word.
year. Honestly, you know what? It's a new year. There must be a different
New Year,
word.
New Yeet.
No. What the
New year,
fuck?
new
It's the
joke to beat into the
same
ground.
shit. Yeah.
How about this?
Whoa.
How about this?
Yes.
How about we start the New Year with hello, Happy New Year.
It's
Yeah.
been a year since
For
we
the
started
new year,
recording.
we got Sky a new
It's
dead
been-
horse to beat.
It's been a year since we started recording. Happy anniversary, everyone.
Been a
Was it
decade.
actually?
Yeah, because we started recording at the beginning of the 2019.
Oh shit!
The channel
Oh.
pretty much came in with the new year. Not precisely,
I
but
was
close.
not aware
Happy
of that.
birthday!
Happy birthday, y'all!
Fuck.
Happy birthday. I think we have not fought a Zodiac since we started the channel. Let's go.
We did. We fought
I know, I'm
Sagittarius
joking.
and we
Fought
kidnapped
Sagittarius.
Aquarius. That happened last year.
We kidnapped
We
Aquarius.
fought Sagittarius, we kidnapped Aquarius, and now
I'm not gonna
who are we
lie.
going after now? Cancer.
Can't-
I'm not gonna lie. I forgot about Sagittarius. So let's go. Who would like to recap this time?
Esther is wearing his head as a crown. What are you talking?
Not his head,
You have
but
a
like his ear around his neck. Her
mantle.
neck. Yeah.
Anyhow.
Remember, you disintegrated him.
Alright, children.
Anyhow.
Yes, Papa.
Time
Older
before
than me, what the
last,
fuck?
we fought a bone cloth. Very, very briefly. We're surprised by how easy that was. We were expecting a much tougher fight. Apparently these occasionally in history have just showed up from time to time and been defeated and showed up again, usually after somebody in particular. Don't know exactly what's going on there. Let's see. Esther
Might I
really-
add?
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
Esther really wants to talk to the High Seer again, where she got this information like 150 years ago. These creatures attacked a specific person. Suspected it might be Garil, but he's been in the tribe for months with no incident so far, so we're not sure if that's actually the issue or not. We only really have one data point right now, so not much to go on. Ashtakaeus and Xenia went back up to the castle to make sure things were okay up there. Nothing popped up there. Everything was fine. Fervus found Rosalind's alchemy dwarves and is having a grand time of it. Fervus met the monarch. Yep. And then there was a little bit of sand surfing. Cryana and Esther did very well. Rosalind experienced one bit of beginner's luck and then ate sand a couple times. At the dawn, there was a very bright flash of light far to the north at sunrise, with the bird form rising up, lights of magic following, and then it reached a height and dissipated. We kind of suspect that that is the phoenix in the ruins of Peduncle. It's been said that that thing kind of repeatedly hatches, rises, falls, turns back into an egg over and over and over again. Has been for a while. We'll see it at some point. And Ashta can learn affection! That's all I got.
Slowly.
Slowly.
We're working on it.
Draw that blood from that stone.
Hey, it's bleeding.
Terrifying. Okay.
Yikes.
Don't know the expression, so that was just concerning.
It's more like there's been some splattered on it by an outside source, but yes.
What the fuck is
That's
bleeding?
a threat.
We're gonna leave that there.
He said draw blood from the stone. I ran with it.
Now, we don't have time to unpack all
All
that.
of that.
Apparently neither is Ashton with his emotional baggage. Anyways, so... as we finished last time, I believe we were taking a long rest in the castle, yes?
Yes.
We left off last time with the sunrise. Esther and Ashta were watching it.
Esther was crying.
Yeah, we just took long rest and
Fervus is waking up.
Yeah.
I think
Probably.
I think most of the party rested down in the village except for Fervus.
I
'Cause
think
he
so.
can't.
Because Xenia pulled some shenanigans.
Because Fervus isn't allowed to.
Yeah, we're coming. We're coming back.
Yeah, so Fervus is in the castle at this point, I believe.
Yeah.
He's staying with the alchemy dwarves.
Yep.
Yes. Which, by the way, is a wonderful title.
They're pretty chill, man.
Yeah, man.
There's really good people. Really good at braiding hair.
People.
So, as the morning sun rises, light enters the world once more. Everyone is rested, feeling good. Fergus, you
Yep.
awake in your new temporary.
Yep.
It's strange having stone walls. It's been a long time since you've slept anywhere that was either out in the stars or a cave.
Mm.
And while the village was strange enough, it had a familiarity to it. But this castle, the stone walls, the cold ground, the absolutely frigid morning, slight frost on the and the sounds of so many breaths and snores nearby. I'll let you decide how it feels, but it's definitely something new.
It's jarring. It's very interesting. He doesn't really go into cities unless he absolutely needs to. So like being around this many bodies is very strange and very foreign to him. So
Just
he'll
look
just
around.
go as part of the long rest. He'll make his 32 bombs that he usually does just for protection.
Yep, you get up in the morning, you begin doing
Yeah.
your crafting, checking all the unused bombs from yesterday, remixing the ingredients, making sure all the catalysts are re-entered.
All the
You see a
reagents and
couple-
everything. Yeah.
Exactly. And you kind of set about your pouch. You see a couple of the younger dwarves, mostly children, who have woken up before their parents. They're kind of giving you an eye from a distance, not angrily, but just as a curiosity. If you're watching you do the bombs, you see one pull out what looks to be a similar device, but instead of explosives, it seems to be some kind of pet inside of it.
Oh.
And they kind of start playing with it and do a similar thing, kind of smile at you when you look at them. It's
That's a fucking Pokeball, man.
Yeah.
basically.
Basically.
But as you get up and kind of dust yourself off for the morning, you begin to don your. Careful with the background noise, whoever's got that there. As you begin to kind of don your cotton thin clothing, you realize it's not going to be warm enough
No.
for this altitude.
Sky
Yeah.
background.
Sky, you got the background noise, please.
Weird. I'm not even moving.
Well, it sounds like you are.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think the sensitivity
As,
on your mic
remind
is
me,
up.
who was sleeping in the village?
I think everyone except Fergus.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone but Fergus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ashley, you wake up to your standard vigilance, or vigil, I mean, outside the camp.
Well, he had already woken up and done the thing with Esther this morning, right?
Yep, of course. Yeah, you wake up, go outside with Esther, hang out for a bit.
Yeah, like
You know, you
stretches, like, oh, I felt like I slept like 4 weeks there. Yeah.
It's a wonderful feeling, eh? It's amazing what the sunrise can do to someone. It's almost a complaint. So you know you woke up a while ago, you've been out and about, so probably the last person to wake up would be Rosalind in this case.
As usual.
Usually.
And as you do, the rest of the village is awake, for the most part. And you see them beginning to take down the houses.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, due to the magical healing of the party and some of the dwarves, I imagine some of the dwarves came down, but even with the party and the natural clerics that are by, while many are still injured, they're not injured enough that their nomadic lifestyle will be interrupted. And the village is preparing to move on. What you guys do from here on is up to you. Kai still has to get to Fluss.
Yep.
You have a phoenix to explore. You have a jail to break.
First thing Esyther's gonna do when she gets back is, well, go say goodbye to her family.
Yeah, of course. And they're all sad to see you go, but for the most part understanding. Some of the little ones make jokes about wanting to come with you, but you can tell they're not serious.
You definitely wouldn't like coming with me. It's far too cold.
I don't know, we're all pretty warm. We can keep each other warm.
You need to stay here and keep everybody else in line.
Ooh, we can keep in line. Hands.
And she'll kind of turn to her mom and just... It's not going to be long this time. I'm going to be back for the meeting of the councils.
I hope to see you there. She kind of pats your cheek, and if you can't make it, that's all right. Do your best.
I will make it. I have to make it.
In that case, I'll see you there.
And she'll say goodbye to everybody, and then she's got to go talk to Gariel.
Go for it. You find him pretty quickly. He's not too set up in his own house. He seems to have just kind of stopped by for a time. And as he's packed up, his bags are all ready. You see him beginning to lend a hand at one of the more communal baggage. Kind of like a large sled that's pulled by a couple people. You see him kind of see you and say something to people he's standing around to and walk towards you to separate from them. He says, I take it you're getting ready to leave as well?
Pretty much. I wanted to ask, did you want to come up and speak to to the lady who runs the castle?
As long as everything's been organized and made ready for me, sure.
It
I
is.
don't want to step on any toes.
You're not, and I would honestly kind of prefer to be near you, at least for the next few days. I'm a bit worried, and I'm not convinced that that thing wasn't sent specifically for you.
Well, I appreciate the care. I'll be happy to come along with. He seems has like a bit of a wide smile as you mentioned this.
Well, whenever you're ready to go, I've already kind of said my goodbyes for now.
Just give me a quick moment to say goodbye, and I'll be with you top of the dune.
Sounds good. And
Okay.
Esther's going to immediately go talk to Rosalind.
Okay.
Yep. And he stalks away to go speak to someone. You may go ahead.
If Esther's coming up to Rosalind, does she have anything like a facial expression going on that would clue Rosalind into, I don't know, anything being up? Is this an insight check thing, or?
Oh no, it's not. It's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
you are the person that she has to talk to, that's all.
Okay. I didn't know if she was running away from something.
No.
Okay. Yes.
And just, how'd you sleep? I know the sand sometimes isn't as comfortable.
Surprisingly, well, almost soft, but I do feel a little gritty. I would like to get up to the castle and take a bath. You might notice that she's pretty much left her hair down. She has not done it up at all.
Keeping your hair down is rather nice. It frames your face.
Well, thank you. I don't really do anything different with it much.
Oh, also, the sash I gave you. Keep it, would you?
Wait, really?
You wear it well.
Oh. It's not just...
It was...
I thought it was just for special occasions. I'd already folded it and put it over there with all of your other things.
Well, personally, I would like you all to come back again.
Of
Many times if possible. So, if anything, I think it would be good if you kept it.
All right, then. I'll treasure it.
And she'll go, speaking of going up to the castle, I know we had previously spoken about the possibility, especially after the Bone Claw attack. Or, do we know the name of the thing, Conrad?
I believe so. There was a high roll at some point.
Okay. I would like to bring Gariel up to the castle to speak with the monarch just about the artifact.
I think I remember something being discussed.
He refuses to part with it.
Yes. And if we want any answers, will he be staying with us for a while? I believe we do need to move on to get Caius where he needs to be. I wish he'd mentioned before that time was shorter than he'd initially said.
He said it was alright for a few days. I don't think there's much that he has to do. If that's alright.
I believe it should be. We'll introduce him to Issa, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay, good. That's really the main thing she has to talk about.
Okay. Rosalind's gonna thank everybody, like all of Esther's family, for hospitality and stuff.
And you get hugs all around, and they brush off any thanks you try to give, as they're just happy you brought Esther back for a time. And
Asha as well would probably like do some thanks, but like kind of quickly give up on it after the first few like refusal for thanks.
yep, and they, as you try to like kind of separate yourself from each thanks, they kind of like keep trying to talk to you and encourage a conversation. It's very difficult to extricate yourself from them.
Just find a moment, and just lick a door.
Yep. But with some intentional social stonewalling, you get yourself out of there, and
I should really be, it's duty calls and
It's not you, it's me.
and as everyone gathers on the top of the sand dune, Xenia, were you in the village or on the castle? You're in the village, right?
Village.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So as everyone comes down, you guys, I assume, call down Rosé. And you guys see the platform beginning to float down towards you. If you guys have any last moments you'd like to do before you officially leave the Genasi village.
Esther's just gonna take kind of one look back at all of her family, packing up and getting ready, and then she just kind of puts the vestige of earth back down over her face, so it's hidden.
Rosalind will
Xenia-
lean over. Oh, sorry.
No, Xenia's giving Esther a pat on the shoulder.
Rosalind's leaning over on the other side and saying, "Now that I've met them, anytime you'd like to chat with any of them by a dream spell, just let me know."
Oh, me too. That'd be fun.
And she goes to say something and stops, kind of clears her throat, and when she talks, it's hoarse. And she just goes, "Thank you." And that's all she says.
And as the platform descends up to the top of the dune, you all gather on, Gariel in tow. You guys begin to ascend. And the flight up, as usual, takes a couple minutes. For a minute or two, it's kind of just awkward, as Rosé begins to get the thing stable and floating at a steady pace. As you can see, the winds have picked up quite a bit compared to the usual fly up. But once it's all settled, she kind of turns to Gariel and goes, "Hello." He kind of nods towards her and gives her like an awkward nod. "Good morning to you too." They both kind of like look at each other and look away from each other. Gariel, like, you see Esther kind of looks at you, Gariel. Nope. Gariel kind of looks at you, Esther. With like a mild look of help. As you know, he's kind of awkward around new people.
Esther will just look to Rosé. "This is a very, very good friend of mine. His name is Garia. He'll be coming up for a short while."
Has he been approved by Issa already? And at this, you see Gariel kind of give you like a concerned look.
"Not yet, but I'm positive it will be fine."
Well, mostly positive. He gives like a dry smile.
"You're going to scare him."
He returns kind of a dry smile, and actually, he doesn't seem cold, but he does seem very discomforted by your smile. But as you see, Rosé kind of pat his thigh, and she goes, "Don't worry, she's never cut anyone's head off yet," and gives him a smile as well. Carlos kind of looks once more concerned with you, Esther.
Esther's just gonna... You can't see her face behind the mask, but by God, can you see her eyes? And they're just tired. It is morning, and she is already tired. And she just kind of looks and just... "They're pulling your leg? It's okay."
Yeah, she's right. Issa has cut someone's head off.
Oh, and
Well,
how would
anybody-
you know?
That's pretty
wasn't-
impressive.
Most likely wasn't anybody we cared about anyways, so what's the issue?
Pretty sure she got a good swing in at the tower.
She got a snake's head off.
He kind of looks at you, Zeke, and he goes, "Well, that's all. I mean, we see snakes in the desert all the time. It's not
The snake swallowed me.
what?
Big
snakes.
snakes.
Very
The size of a couple tents down there. Maybe
yes.
more.
Are they
Don't
frequent?
don't go into the forest without, well, most if not all of us, if you can. Avoid it.
Don't go into the forest without other people knowing.
Mm.
You guys have a forest?
Yes.
Well, it's a whole island.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I've,
like
never, I've never seen a forest before.
Ah.
Oh.
Not
Like,
even.
Asher tilts his head. It's like, all that knowledge you've got stored up and
Well, I've
whatever.
read about
And
them. I know how they work. I can tell you how certain plants look and what they are used for medicinally, but I've never been in one.
Esther's just gonna. You've never, even in all your travels, seen a forest? I saw a forest when I was.
I've gone east to the hills. I've gone west, southwest mostly, to deeper in the desert and to the other continent for a while, but never in the forest.
You went to the other continent?
Very briefly, it was. We're not particularly welcome there as citizens of this nation, but
Wait, why?
Genasi got away with it. Oh, you know the whole issues they have. Oh, you've right.
I
Um,
don't know.
Rosalind, Ashta, and Xenia roll me history.
Someone roll it for me. Let me check the modifier.
I got it here. Don't worry. I would just sheet up.
nope, didn't mean to do that twice, but it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
D20 plus
Okay.
6.
Yep. All right. So Xenia, you've got a 19.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
Oh, can I add guidance to it?
Sure.
On the sidelines, Asher's just like, Rosalind, look at that bird over there.
Yep. Rosalind's got a 6. Ashta's got a 4.
Yep.
And you've got a total of 22, Xenia.
Rosalind's kind of busy pushing hair out of her face because it's blowing around a little bit more than usual.
Oh, your hair's down. Just sidetrack conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, you what?
And Xenia, you would know that the country to the southwest is sometimes referred to as the Nation of Immortals, as their they have one ruler. They have not a monarch or a patriarch, but they have a ruler who is determined by bloodline, the most prominent of each generation of a certain family, etc., etc. But every of the previous monarchs, when they pass, their remains are kept and given enough sentience and life to give counsel to the current reigning ruler.
Damn.
This has caused a lot of tension with first the arcanists of the past, as many of the ways was done seen as close to lichdom, which many of the arcanists looked down on heavily. And in the druids especially, a lot of the ones who focused on the cycle of natural life and death were very disapproving of this method. And while there's never been wars, as the country is a very small one compared to Panacea, it's always been a source of tension.
Xenia, raised by a arcanist and a druid, so the
Yes.
pseudo-lich country.
Yeah. And he
Just
kind
noticed,
of,
yeah.
Yeah.
he kind of, you see Gariel nod and go, yes, although while the methods are distasteful to us in their culture, it's seen as alright, and you have to admit, the knowledge they get is interesting. It's an interesting concept for ruling. Having all the past of history at your fingertips, and you can just ask a creature of the past what was reasonable and what happened, instead of getting second-hand perspective of history. And you seem kind of like an excited light to his eyes.
Oh,
Well,
so it's
there-
like if asking the Raven Queen for people's memories too. It's sort of like that, right? You get to see
Sort of,
through
and you
their
can-
eyes.
Exactly, and you can get their opinions, and not just their memories, but the regrets, their hindsight, what they think they could have done better to improve this. While, again, distasteful, and I'm sure the ruler has become comfortable. It's a wonderful resource.
Being dead is
you're
overrated.
Just through gritted teeth, and he was like, I suppose.
There's a lot of good resources. Doesn't mean they should be used.
He kind of notes the discomfort. He goes, "Oh, this is more of a research opinion."
No, that's
there
fair.
might-
I was raised with a bias.
Understandable. I think, to be fair, I think those from that country were as well. I've heard that necromancy is a lot more common there, and only the most extreme examples are seen as particularly egregious.
Like I just said, being dead is overrated.
I agree.
Rebirth is where it's at, Esther. Come on.
And he kind of like glances at Rose and he goes, "I will ask you guys questions later on about, the idea of past lost knowledge, if you don't mind, but I think it's at least something to consider as a resource if need be. If you ever want to hear the perspective of, people of this country, the Genasi have their own biases as we've been discriminated against. But a bias of another country is interestingly valuable in its own respect.
What's the bias of the other country in relation to where we live now?
Generally a disapproving one. They respect that we, at least currently, have rulers of such long life, but I think their opinions of when the Archdruid passed and was just allowed to pass despite his centuries of knowledge, I think they see it as quite a waste, frankly, just because of what they see as a cultural difference.
That is understandable.
Just an interesting perspective. And as you guys kind of end up the conversation, the platform raises to the edge of the lake. Rose tends to let it rest. You guys see that off in the distance, especially those with your crazy perceptions, all of you. You see Simone in the distance, kind of in some high grasslands, kind of keeping watch as people, mostly dwarves, are beginning to create farmland. Clearing out the weeds, stones, moving it around. Children, teenagers especially, are there. Most of the older adults, tend to keep inside the castle and teach their crafts as opposed to manual labor.
Gonna send
But-
Thorn ahead to get Issa. Just while this happens.
You do so, and it's easy enough to find her. She was seemingly expecting you guys this morning. And she makes her way over within a minute or two of you guys landing, and Rose setting the platform aside to be used as training for her apprentice.
During that minute, Asha might have found Simone and just everything going well.
She kind of looks to you and says something to the wolf as it goes to keep watch elsewise. She looks to you and says, "Yeah, it's been peaceful. But the farmers aren't happy so far as apparently even the ladybugs here are huge."
Oh god.
Like
Seems
how
we're gonna have to.
huge?
She kind of opens her hand to the size of a dinner plate.
Well, hopefully that means the food will get it that big.
I wouldn't be surprised. We're gonna try to get some of the fauna from nearby, see if they have their natural protections against kind of bugs here.
Also, grasshoppers aren't that bad a source of food.
Oh, I mean, it's been interesting to see how many of those ghosts has been hunting down. He seems to enjoy the crunch.
Nothing wrong with a good bug crunch.
If you guys like, I can have some of the grasshoppers captured and cooked up for you guys.
Asha is trying like,
Yes.
oh, why not? At least
I'll
for
take that.
food storehouses.
That'd be a fun meat to try.
It's imagine less of a meat, more of like if you think like a fried onion in texture.
You ever have pork rind?
Yeah.
Yes, pork rind is a good way to do it, or like an incredibly crispy bacon.
Rosalind has the most
Oh, yes.
conflicted look on her face.
Esther's getting more and more excited.
You've got to teach me how to make grasshopper, then that'd be amazing.
Oh, if you're here tonight, I can show you. I'm planning to roast some up as a snack. I want
That
to
would
see
be
what I
good.
do tonight.
That would be
Mainly cooked to
wonderful
be kind
for.
of dried out, but
That would
Maybe.
be great ration-wise, though.
that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
absolutely.
Lots of
Put 'em on
protein.
the hunt list.
Yeah, I will see. I have a meeting with my clerics tonight.
Rosalind just kind of looks like appalled.
Just
You
slightly.
see Simone kind of smile. You see Simone kind of smile and says, "Oh, I know. That's who I'm cooking most of the grasshoppers for."
Oh.
They
That's
requested it for
exciting.
me. Yes.
Oh,
They,
okay.
apparently, they figured out some spice that they like to add to it that gives it just a wonderful flavor.
Oh, I'm excited to try.
I'm so
Alright.
excited.
You see
Extra
Simone
turns.
kind of give Rosalind a look and go, "You not a fan of bugs?"
Certain ones I don't mind, but I've never actually tried to eat them.
Ashley gives a smile. What happened to that gumption when you're in the Genasi village? Try anything once.
Mm,
And Esther's
I'll
gonna give
try it
Rosalind.
once. I'll try it once.
Esther's gonna give Rosalind a kind of concerned look and just go, "You know, you ate bugs when we were in my village, right?"
From the look on Rosalind's face, she did not know that.
Desert worms is one of the
Oh.
desserts that we have here.
Yeah, there were those sweet
They
grubbins, right?
Yeah, they didn't tell you, did they?
No.
They
Oh,
tasted
well,
like bug. That's what you could
ate
tell.
worms, my dear, as well as an assortment of flies that are their wings are used as a spice. You've eaten
Those were
bugs.
flies.
I think
Those
it's
were flies. Okay.
I think it's somehow different knowing something ahead of time, though.
Think of it this way: the parts of your instincts that are telling you that bugs are gross is the sanitary issues and the flavor. And if both of those are very carefully taken into account, like I just assume and hope in retrospect the Genasi would do, then there's nothing to worry about.
Exactly. If something tastes good and it's healthy for the body, we're fine.
You see Gariel kind of like
I-
snap his fingers and point to Rosalind and go, "Cultural biases."
Yeah, what he said.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I just ate bugs.
What was that about? I'm sorry, was that a reference to a conversation I missed?
Oh yes, about the immortal country to the southeast, southwest.
About the what?
The
country to the
of immortals
southwest.
to the southwest.
Yeah, I think you were a bit distant from your mic and you got a lot of background fuzz.
Oh, my apologies. He just kind of repeats himself. This is the country of the immortals from the southwest.
How are they immortal?
Oh, we just
Yeah,
had this.
we just-
Oh, there's Issa,
Yep.
and as Issa kind of jogs up, well, you see her sword is like on her shoulder as she does so, but also a baby under her arm. And she,
That's bad on brand.
The ultimate mom.
Yes.
Asa!
she kind of says like, "Oh, hey guys," and she gives like a deathly glare to Gariel, and she goes, "Is this a new friend?" You can see the bags under her eyes are deep, and her hair is in a messy bun.
He may
Are
be
you-
staying with us. Are you alright?
We had a incident with a few couple drunken dwarves that I had to deal with last night. It was rather interrupting to my sleep, and then there was a mild infestation of giant ants, which I had to go fight, and there was one giant rat. And when I say giant rat, I don't mean like normal giant rats. I mean like a giant rat the size of a dog, but like
Oh.
larger than a dog, kind of like a dire wolf. I'm very tired. I've had 4 coffees. Hi, nice to
Oh,
meet you. She
no.
puts out the hand with the great sword towards Gariel, puts her sword back in her sheath, and puts the hand out again.
Oh, would you like me to take... What was the name of the kid?
Yenben?
Zenman.
Yeah,
Yenman.
man.
Do you want me to take Yenben?
I would love you for that.
Ashley kind of like cracks the knuckles. Like, do the stated dwarves need any additional lessons taught?
How to get over
Yeah.
concussion, yes.
Asa, would you...
The
Okay,
opposite of what Ashta could help with.
I-
In the future, if you need help, I know that she's really your apprentice, Ashta, but perhaps Simone would be able to
What?
lend a hand?
I don't. That's a bit
You
Ashta.
see, you see Simone kind of like get like a wolfish grin and goes, "Who do you think
Student?
gave him the booze?"
Ah. In that case, it would be your responsibility to help end the problems caused by it.
Wait, sorry. What
Oh,
did someone say?
Who do you think
It's-
gave them the booze?
Ashley like turns with a look on his face.
She gives you just like a strange look, like, "What? They wanted to celebrate."
I'm going to
Well,
very
she-
quickly ping through Thorn to Simone a word of warning. If you want to stay his student, cease and desist.
She kind of shrugs and goes, "Sorry, didn't know it was against the rules. They're dwarves. I thought they, whatever."
It's fine. As long as it doesn't cut into issues, which it seems to have.
Fair enough. Issa, do you want me to go give them a firm talking to, and also possibly get the more rough of the healers to go give them a hand? And you see Issa kind of just give a smile and says, "Oh, you're forgiven. Go."
Do a sweep of any
farmers.
giant rats while you're at it.
Oh, don't worry. Ghost already took care of them. And you hear Ghost kind of give like a deep grumble into his chest.
Well, I am going to go and wash up, however briefly. Issa, I'd like to speak with you after you're done here. Don't worry, it's nothing too vital important, but it's something I would like to get done.
Sure thing. Do I need to interview this one, or do you guys have consistent trust with him? And she kind of like gestures towards Gariel. And you see him kind of like look very nervous at the... Like,
Wouldn't
Issa's a
hurt.
few inches taller than him, and also like twice his width.
He is one of my closest friends. I trust him with my life.
It wouldn't hurt, though.
She kind of like walks up to him, and you guys start to notice that she is walking a bit different. Like you can see the fatigue in her shoulders. She kind of grabs him by the jaw and looks him over by like over the face and like down the body and says, "Yeah, you'll do." She kind of gives him like a gentle slap on the cheek and says, "Okay, yeah,
Esther
I
just
trust him."
Esther sighs visibly in relief.
you hear like a mild one from Gariel as well, and she goes, "Oh, and if I catch you drinking Mr. Tiefling boy with the fancy spells, I will remove your toes. Don't test me."
Your toes. Hand them over.
What? Caius is like, what?
Yeah, that's fair.
As she turns, looks over to Caius with the same look he gave him that so many sessions ago, before he gave him a concussion. It's like, yeah, that's fair.
We follow prohibition here.
Yeah, he's just walked in and he just heard, "Or I'll fucking steal your toes." And he's like, what?
I'll fucking yoink your tiny balance sticks. Give them to me.
Rosalind's gonna start the castle heading towards Fluss.
Could have sworn I stopped drinking.
And as you guys begin your journey, you probably I'm gonna measure how long it's gonna take.
Gotta get the Fluss.
We're not on the world map right now, by the way.
No.
Yep, I am just measuring real quick. But I'll-
An hour or two, maybe?
I think it's
No.
2.
That's what I thought. I thought it was 2 hours.
Yeah, I remember it was 2 hours last time.
Yeah.
250 kilometers. What's the max speed again? 100?
We
Mhm.
do like 90 miles an hour, I think.
Okay, so just 2.5 then. Okay,
2.5 hours, yeah.
I think
so
that's what it
pretty
was.
good pace. So you guys can separate and do as you wish for the early morning 2.5 hours.
Esther,
Issa kind of takes you aside, and we'll get to each of you in a moment.
Before they
Issa
break
takes
off
you-
real quick,
Yeah,
Ash just real quick as he says, like, that check you gave the tiefling, was that all you did for Carson?
She kind of sighs and goes, "No, I'm just too tired to do otherwise right now."
Okay, good, just making sure. That's all, bye.
Oh, bye.
Esther will
That's
just
all
kind of
right.
stop to Issa really quick before they part and just, would you like me to take care of Yenben for a bit so you can sleep?
I think we lost it.
And he gone.
Yep, we lost him.
Gone.
He was here, but now he gone.
Uh-oh. There he is.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button when I was trying to mute. Um,
Okay.
Yikes.
Issa kind of like just looks at you and says, "Please," and she just hands you Yenben.
And Esther will just kind of set Yenben. How old is Yenben now?
If I'm not mistaken, he's just under 2 years.
Oh,
No.
awesome. She'll set him on her hip then. He's big enough for that.
Gotcha. It might be like a year and a bit. I can't remember right now.
His baby.
Yes, he is. It's so cute and fuzzy.
Yeah, Esther will set him on her hip.
And
Like by the leg, or?
On her hip. You know how you carry kids on your hip?
when you're standing up, not like sitting down.
Okay, I was just, I was thinking like with the sat down, just like, how's that? that?
No, I carry a
Word.
2-year-old to school weekdays. I know how to carry a kid on the hip.
Fair enough. And Ashley wanted to, before the party dispersed.
No, he would just wanted to double check with you. So like, hey, that's you didn't do that check to you didn't only do that check to Carson, right?
Yeah,
Shady
and she
fucker.
goes, no. I give him more of a verbal dressing down. And he is vocally resilient to fear, but I could feel his heart quiver.
Yeah, that's about right. Just wanted to make sure because he definitely requires more than that.
Oh, I know. I saw him trying to pawn off some kind of pseudo-magical tarot card deck.
Somewhat now.
Oh.
Pseudo-magical. It wasn't actually magical. It just had the ability to glitter.
Magical
Oh.
Jack. Want
Dude's
it?
fucking selling bootleg Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
You see,
Bootleg
Esther
prismatics.
Esther's just kind of like, oh, I want.
Oh my god. Esther's about to go find Carson and be like, hey, you got any more of those?
Esther's gotta go talk to that bird, though.
Okay.
All right,
Oh, wait.
we're
It's
all
all-
split up. Who's going first?
Issa and
Alright. All I want to do is the one simple thing. Rosalind's gonna get Issa, sit her down somewhere private and say, I'm not going to take much time, but there is something that you should know and become sort of a part of. We have a way of communicating with each other near instantly across great distances in our group. I'd like you to be part of that network in case there is ever an emergency, and so that you would be able to get the castle to us if we're ever apart from it and have need of it, or anything of the like. Now, something is about to ask you a question. Just say yes, and she's gonna send one of her now 13 and gonna be back down to 12 Fane over to Issa.
alright. And as is standard, you see her eyes just widen, and briefly you switch views, and you see an image of yourself. One, you haven't had a fantastic opportunity to look at yourself in any kind of mirror recently. But seeing yourself in the new armor with your hair down and a bit more kind of grime to yourself than you used to, despite the constant prestidigitation, there's still a slight dustiness to you. You also notice when looking through Issa's eyes, her vision, it's almost like shadows don't exist for her. Despite the fact that there should be shadows of your hair on your face, it's like you're in the most perfect of lighting imaginable. None of your clothes create shadows. The only shadow that seems to appear goes towards the sun from her. And as the vision switches back, you kind of see the processing happening to her, and you realize for a moment that she just got one thing. It immediately is going to take the knowledge that she has and her experience and ratchet up in scale very quickly. So as the information almost like downloads behind her eye, she kind of like blinks to you and goes, "Oh, that's better than a coffee." Okay.
I don't expect it to replace real sleep, but
No, hold on. And you see her just like massaging her skull. I might need a minute for that one.
yes. Take your time. But if you want to communicate with any of us, we will need to commingle briefly, just to create the connection.
She nods and... Okay, commingle. Let me ask them how to. And you hear in the back of your head, and so you hear her go, test, sending from your favorite bodyguard.
In the
Can you hear
entire
me?
world. And she sends that back via Fane.
She kind of like scratches her face and goes, must have sent it to the wrong person.
Oh,
she-
are you a bodyguard for more than one?
Don't worry. You're my one and only. She kind of gives like a false face of solemnity. Solemnity? Solemnus? I don't know what the word is for that.
Anemone.
The enemy of an enemy.
Well, that should make things a bit easier, and has a significant bonus, I suppose. You can ask them questions, and they can give you dreams or give you answers, as long as it's knowledge they would have.
And she kind of goes, oh, I can already sense that. It gives me ideas that I didn't think about. And hold on, can I try something very quickly?
Go ahead.
And you see her kind of like steeple her hands together for a moment. And as you watch, her shadow reverses directions. It's now going towards the sun, kind of like you saw from her view. And then you see it start peeling up from the ground. And a shadow doppelganger of Issa kind of just is standing next to her now, connected by the shadow at her.
Ah,
And as she looks up to you, she waves, and a perfect mirror of the other one waves its opposite hand.
interesting. A little bit terrifying.
As she smiles, you see that the shadow smiles as well, and instead of the darkness of a mouth, the entire black figure just has a pure white smile. No teeth. She looks at it and
I
goes,
don't know if I
and
should...
and that's how I'm going to scare those dwarves.
Word of warning, I don't know if you should avoid showing this to Ashta at all, or if you should tell him about it before showing him. I'll sort of leave that up to you, but he gets slightly worried about doppelgangers and copies and clones of any kind.
Am I able to speak to him as well, or do I need to...
Provided you send the Fane to commingle briefly, yes.
Oh, alright. And you see her turn in a second and goes, Are the birds trying to talk to me?
Yes, they can do that. Though,
That explains
warning,
so much.
Yeah, I imagine it does. Of note, you won't be able to commingle with the Monarch. They are host to too many Fane. They would overwhelm us. Which is
Good to
why
know.
it's a very good thing that she can speak common.
I've actually noticed she can speak a number of languages. It's
Oh,
odd. Many that you wouldn't expect someone of her age to be able to speak.
that's the Fane for you in some ways. They
Monarch
make it
speaks
much... They make it much easier to learn things.
I'm gonna be the best mom ever.
Perhaps don't give the little one Fane until he's much older, if at all.
Oh, of course. I'm going to... Hold on. And Ashta, you hear, as you kind of separate it a bit, you hear, would you like to come in?
Caller ID.
This
Caller
is,
ID.
I believe she calls herself Issa.
Rosalind got around to it. No, yep, sure.
And again, you see that switch, and you see that same difference in shadows, as well as a doppelganger version of Issa standing directly next to her as she kind of looks at Rosalind.
Oh no!
Oh.
Just
After a panic attack.
quick status update right now, please.
And she goes, hi, Ashta, right? I'm talking to her
Yep,
person.
yes, okay, what is the thing beside you?
Oh, wow, she was right. You would panic about that. Just a little trick I figured out how to do. It's just a thing under my control. Magic. Shadow.
Just... Warning would have been appreciated.
I just gave you a warning.
Oh dear.
I didn't know I could do this until 10 minutes ago.
So you got the brain bugs too, huh?
Yeah, they're very interesting.
The brain.
Also,
goes-
is that what it's like to see shadows? I haven't seen them in so long.
Yeah, you really did get a number on you on the tower, didn't you?
Hopefully these brain bugs will help handling that too, yes.
Well,
Well, this will make it much easier for me to do those interviews. I can see if you have any individual questions you want.
yeah, and it's also extra fun if you got someone else in the room and you can kind of play chess with them, so to say.
Talk shit.
Oh, that is interesting. I'll keep that in mind. Who else has this that I should know of?
The whole cavalcade, colorful ensemble that we usually go with.
Alright.
Plus Carson.
Anyone else?
Um, he goes, I mean, Carson.
I am She just pauses for a second and goes, "What?"
That's how I got to him properly in the first place.
Is that how he managed to convince a flock of birds to harass me in the morning when he needed to ask me a question?
Oh no!
Oh, Carson's gonna fucking die.
Here's the
Wait,
thing:
did
you
you
can now
say
harass
Frank?
him back directly into his brain.
Oh, I'm gonna go send my little shadow to go and interact with him. Don't worry.
Carson's
If you hear girlies screaming, don't be startled.
I wouldn't be anyways if it was him.
Understandable. And
Just
as
Don't
she kind of,
don't fuck him up too bad.
I only give as good as I get. Don't worry, and enough to scare him afterward. And for the rest of the party, we each get connected to Issa as well as she sends out a feint to each of you. And at one point, you do all hear a very girly scream as Rosalind. You see Issa send her shadow off in the distance, followed by a horde of firebirds. To one
Just
of
the
the towers.
birds flying off of the forest and
Yeah, as they all go after, and Ashley, you get a message from Carson of like, how did, what?
he's
Hold
got
on.
fame now. Have fun.
Oh, why did all the birds steal my clothes?
Apparently you used them to your own ends, and this is returning the favor.
Oh, you know about that.
He's got fame now.
Oh no.
It was in this moment Carson realized he fucked up.
But Battlefield's even now. Good luck, fucker.
Her and Azkai are gonna get along so well. Well, at least the kids will be safe, I promise you that. By the way, Eshta, I have to ask, if I accidentally created
Go on.
potion, I made a potion that turns water into acid, and I don't know what container to put it in, because every container I put it in melts. I'm kind of just putting it into a series of buckets and hoping that the next one catches enough that the next one keeps going. Help!
We've got a fucking team of dwarven chemists, and you can't ask them a question.
They helped me make the acid. They're doing work right now.
And they didn't properly prepare you to contain it?
We all thought that it would work. We put them in like a
Have
completely...
you tried glass?
Yes, of course. What do you mean did I try glass?
Then what water is it changing?
It's just the acid eats through everything afterwards. Apparently water just makes the acid stronger.
Ask Fervus.
Ask the new kid. Yeah, good.
What new kid?
There's a new kid. He does bombs and acid and stuff.
He does bombs.
Fire
Okay.
genasi. Fuck, no, he doesn't.
Wrong thing to say.
What have you
I will,
done?
I will talk to you later. Tell Issa I'm sorry in advance, and also please tell her about the acid.
If you're a bad influence, your ass is containing the acid next.
Fervus, you get a desperate dwarf running to you like, alchemist, new, right? Yes, hello.
Yeah.
That's you.
Hi. Yes.
Super strong acid. Help! We need a container. Can you
Oh.
help?
Okay. And Fervus goes running over.
Yep. Go ahead and roll me an alchemy check.
17.
Okay. Yeah, you have no idea how to work with this, but you do figure out the formula.
Okay.
So you could make some of your own hell water if you wanted to.
Oh, water. Yeah.
But if you know the formula, wouldn't you be able to figure out how to dilute it?
Wait. Identify poisons, and other chemical substances. What did I get? Wait, no,
Isn't that
not
just
a thing?
chemistry?
Yeah.
It's just chemistry. If you know what the formula
Okay.
is for a compound, you should know also how to dilute it.
If
Well, it
if
says this
normally
bonus
when
stacks with your normal proficiency, so wouldn't that be
so
another?
that'd be another plus four.
Plus four?
Yes, so that's a 21. Okay, so you do figure out the formula, by the way, and You've never seen this kind of acid before, actually. It's John, do you know like basic chemistry?
Kind of.
Okay. You know how acids are HO?
Yeah.
Okay. It's basically a way to break down oxygen to turn it
Yeah.
into a hydrogen, and therefore when you add H2O to it, it adds a ton of hydrogen to it, which
hydrogen,
just makes the
yeah.
acid stronger. Yeah. So
Yes.
that's basically all it is.
Yeah.
It's a oxygen. It's basically an acid to oxygen. So do not let that turn to gas because oh my god.
Yeah.
You mean
But you think-
let it turn to gas?
No, absolutely do not. But you basically figure out that if you take a container that's coated with a solid base,
Yeah.
you should be able to neutralize it enough to maintain a glass container. You just need
Okay,
to
yeah.
dilute
So
the acid first.
I'll set a reagent to be like a solid. I'll use a reagent to set a solid base for a glass container.
Yep.
And
And once you do so, you can contain it.
yeah, and I'll
Conrad?
contain it.
Yep.
In absolute theory, would it be possible to place this very strong acid into a vial, make it so that it was a bomb, but a timed bomb, so that way the vial would be cracked at a specific time, allowing oxygen to infiltrate and basically making a lethal gas?
Christ,
theoretically,
you're making the fucking oxygen destroyer from Godzilla. This is not a good idea.
Not a good
No, I'm
idea.
making chloride gas.
This
Anyways,
is not a
Yeah,
good idea.
basically.
I'm trying to make
We're
mustard
not-
gas here,
We're not
boys.
making mustard gas. We're not.
We're not.
This
Please
isn't
no.
World War One era Germany. We're not doing that.
But do you know how useful that could be in battle?
Please don't.
I will say the biggest
Do you know how-
the biggest hold on. The biggest issue there is finding a way to time it properly, as you guys don't have mechanical fuses.
No.
You could try
Guys,
to-
do you have
try
any
to
idea
figure
how
it out.
helpful breaking the Geneva Convention would be?
We have to change the convention.
What's the Geneva Convention, brother? We got
So
Roll history.
okay,
Actually,
okay.
If
For
you guys
this,
actually want to know, I do have that written down. Roll a history check for
fucking
wants to know.
serious.
Can I try and learn what the Geneva Convention is?
history
I'd
Sure.
like to
check
read it, please.
23. Would I know the ethics of
Purvis
it?
would very much know.
Maybe it got drilled
Oh,
into his head by
Xenia.
his instructor.
Hold up.
Absolutely
Oh, no.
unethical.
Oh, Xenia
You have-
Yeah, me
Yeah,
and
no.
Xenia.
I'm curious.
That's a 29 with a natural 20.
29.
Please no.
Yeah, we're like
That's
Why?
super unethical, Esther. Let's not do that.
Wait, why was that
Okay.
29?
Because guidance.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, can I please ask why you have a Geneva Convention for this world?
Because I have a society full of different levels of casters that rule different governments, and what the rules of war are very important, considering it's the Arcanists versus the Druids.
Ah,
Yes.
smart. Okay. I was just curious as to why you
So
decided
yeah,
to
that's
develop
super unethical and also a war crime.
it. Because
Yeah,
why
so-
would we care about war crimes?
Because we're
That
not
is a
fucking
loaded question.
psychopaths.
I
We're-
mean,
we're,
we're going around and killing things. Why
we're
would we care?
independent. We're
Oh my-
independents. We're not
What
anarchists.
the fuck, Sky?
Also, Scott, by the way, that description is literally why the Geneva Conventions were figured out, because people in real life thought that for actual war. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
Yes,
Sky.
I
Um,
figured that, my man.
Welcome to fucking.
Because do you want the Genasi Desert to have the possibility of dying cruel and painful deaths? No? Then let's have a no on everyone doing that.
So, the
Alright,
basic
dude.
outline for the Geneva Convention is focused around undue harm and also irreversible. So there's basically 4 sections. Irreversible charm effects.
Welcome to D&D, everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
where we have
irreversible. So there's the kind of one that's by Panacea, and there's the one that's kind of worldwide. So irreversible charm effects are a big one. So things like Gish, where it basically can work for more than a year, are against it.
Things like
Modify
what?
memory under that?
Things like what?
GEAS. It's like a 8th level spell.
Got it.
So if you
Yes.
if you make things like dominate person, I think I've always heard it pronounced Gish or Gish.
It's geese, like honk.
I refuse. So geese are also
That's a
against
war
the convention.
crime.
No, I'm joking.
No, they
Sure,
are.
war crime.
That's what's a fucking war crime. That's what the Canadians did in retaliation. They let the
Dire
geese
goose,
fly.
dude.
Horrifying. So
Mustard
irreversible charm
geese.
effects.
These are war criminals.
Fucking mustard geese.
Christ.
Fuck, sorry, that was really funny.
No, that's a good. That was a pretty good one. I'll give you that.
Fucking mustard geese.
All right.
So, irreversible charm
Crack
effects.
myself up.
To be fair, gases are not one of them because things like Cloud Kill exist. Not one of them. Things like True Polymorph that turn people into inanimate objects, or
Or be a
are
plant.
yeah, things like that are very, very against it. So basically, the because you got such a high roll, Xenia, the druids implemented the charm one, the wizards implemented the True Polymorph one because of the other side doing that so often. There was a especially notable case about the Archdruid walking up to one of the Arcanists and turning him into a brick that he used to beat another Arcanist to death.
Oh
Don't
my
worry about it.
god.
We can explain it another time. That's not important right now.
Outside of the horrific identity
Interesting,
death,
though.
that's pretty metal.
Yes, and no turning fish into adamantine are not war crimes. These are all towards humanoid.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm gonna
Uh,
turn a fish into anime.
Yeah, who the fuck would do that?
That's cool as shit.
A third one is kind of that same one around necromancy, but to a more extreme degree than the one about things like vampiric touch. Extreme necromancy, obviously, where it's used to against the other side's soldier. So technically using it on your own is not against it.
It is
But
the year
it's
of the rat.
Yeah. What?
It's saying that there's every 20 year of the decade, there's been a plague. It's the year of the rat, boys. Let's kill the other
Horrifying.
side.
No, horrifying. Okay. And the final one is anything that permanently alters landscape such that it is no longer livable.
So
Those
no
are-
magic nukes.
Yeah, basically. Earthquakes are fine because the land can recover from that. But if someone casts like a wish spell to disallow life to grow in a certain area, that would be against it. Those are the four main
Interesting.
tenets. There are a bunch of minor ones.
So no
but-
napalm time.
No, napalm is perfectly fine.
So you said that gases were fine though because cloud kill exists, right?
Yeah.
See, then it's not a war crime.
Okay, I'm gonna stack on here.
still-
We're actively trying to be better than the ruling government. Just because
Yes.
it's not illegal for them does not mean it's okay.
Yes, it's still highly unethical.
I don't mean against like a fucking army. I mean in the sense of like if we're fighting something that's really fucking powerful, then it might be an advantage. That's all. Not
And
to
then
fucking
we're the
work an
monsters.
army.
Regardless. So, it is contained.
No.
I mean,
That's
theoretically,
what I'm
yes,
on
but like,
about.
regardless. That is
We
figured
care
out.
so much about the zodiacs. Okay.
Fervis, if you'd like, you can add a vial of...
Fuck you, Devin. Sorry.
That was pretty good, not gonna lie.
I get inspiration.
We use radiation against
you not already have it?
cancer.
No.
Okay, I didn't get
Oh, yeah, I'll
inspiration
give you
from
a
mustard. I didn't get inspiration from mustard geese. Fuck you.
There's a reason for that.
There wasn't a wordplay. You just said a phrase that sounded like another phrase.
Mustard geese was funny. Fuck you.
It was funny, but it was not inspiration worthy. I'll give you inspiration for that, Devin, yes. Regardless, there's the D&D Geneva Convention. Please write it down, because I only wrote it down once and I don't remember where it is.
It's recorded.
Okay, but like, I'll have to find it.
The D&D convention.
The D&D fuck Ty.
So, Fergus, if you'd like, you can add 1 ounce of,
Oh god, why?
call it oxygen acid.
Oxygen acid. Okay.
Geneva worthy acid.
And then in brackets, contain, because that's very important.
Yeah.
In brackets, war crime.
If you have oxygen,
1 ounce of war crime juice
1 ounce of the war crime juice.
contained.
Yes,
Somewhat.
that's a very important one.
It is contained. I found a way to contain it.
For
So-
now.
No, you're not getting your hands on this, Esther.
There's here.
It's in my bag of holding. Have
Oh,
fun.
I made a mistake.
What mistake?
I put the castle beneath those the blue squares. And now trying to separate it is a problem.
Rip.
delete the blue
There we go.
squares.
Okay, so who's next?
1 second, guys.
Don't worry, Conrad.
I do need Rosalind to talk to the entire group at some point before we get to Fluss, but it can wait until others do individual things.
Yep, and Fane can be pinged on the group chat for hey.
Hey, need to chat.
Yep. We can double check with Conrad, but at some point can we say like over the Fane group chat this fucking war crimes conversation has actually come up?
Yeah, and be like,
Yeah, Fervis and fucking Xenia be like, that's highly unethical, Esther. We can't do that.
Yeah, Xenia just like pops it in the group. She's just like,
Esther's just like, but why though?
But Esther's like, but it's not against a legitimate army. It's just
Ethics!
against a very big bad.
What do you define as big bad?
A very
Yeah.
powerful Zodiac that we could have
Who
every
is a-
edge against.
Living and breathing person?
Who wants us dead?
If nuking a country gave us an edge against the Zodiac, would we do it?
they tried to nuke us. They were gonna take out half of our country. Remember?
Yes, and welcome to how fucking. Oh my god, this is
Hey,
the exact
you know
thing where
what?
this group is going against.
Well, Ashton and Fervis are trying to give like an ethics lesson to like literal sociopaths.
No, Xenia's just making a joke. It's just like we're not going on the same level.
I know.
See, Esther kind of got the point of the whole thing a while ago. She's just kind of enjoying how worked up Ashton and Fervis are getting.
No, Fervis is just kind of annoyed. He's just like, no,
I will
that's
say, guys, Fergus isn't
unethical.
currently, if I'm not mistaken, Fergus currently doesn't have fame.
No, but
Yeah.
he,
No, he
True.
doesn't.
fuck. Okay.
So,
we-
whoever wants to take care of that.
In group, he hasn't had a proper reason for us to give him it yet. We just
Yeah.
kind of met the kid.
Yeah, he's tagging along.
Sorry, John.
Just tagging along. Yeah, I know.
You got your trial run. The demo doesn't come with Fane edition. You need to buy the full game.
Yeah.
Damn it! I hate microtransactions.
God damn it, E EA.
D&D is just microtransactions with improv.
It's just one payment of 1,000 gold until the next DLC comes out in like 3 months, and then it's another 1,000 gold.
Speaking of the next DLC, did you guys see that new book that's coming out?
Okay, not
Focus,
in-game,
y'all.
not in
Focus,
game.
y'all.
Focus.
So, you guys each have 2.5 hours to do with what you wish. Just round it to 3 to make it easy.
Esther's gotta go speak to the bird.
I'm back on my bullshit.
Congratulations, you fucking goon, you passed basic chemistry. Sorry, the fucking chat.
We can't contain this acid. Okay. Listen, Carson. It's an acid, right?
The
Yeah. Okay.
Fergus,
Okay.
The issue is creating a base that uses as little oxygen as possible.
Yeah. It's just like
And
bases.
considering a lot of bases contain OH,
Yep, they're just the reverse
hydrox.
of
Basic chemistry.
But
This is I love the idea that like a base that doesn't use that much oxygen is like basic chemistry to Fervis. He's just like,
Oh, boo!
To be fair, he is a rather skilled chemist with a different kind of education about chemistry.
yes,
Twerp prodigies, we like to call them.
exactly.
Yes.
Twatty.
You are the chosen one. No.
Shut up.
Focus.
So, do you guys need any specifics for the time spent, other than Esther with the bird?
Esther's trying a yes boss training.
Oh
Yep, go for
3d20, just 3 hours.
it. Yes.
You
Yes.
already wrote to make
Oh,
sure
it works again! Yay!
Damn it.
And yes, I did tie.
Dang.
Ooh.
Okay.
What happened?
I just make sure I'm in charge of seeing the sheep now, so I'm just making sure that's noted.
Right. Okay. Who are we on to next?
You head to the bird.
Oh, you.
Careful with background
Okay.
noise.
Sorry.
It's okay. So is it a specific conversation or just going there?
Well, there's going to the bird with Gariel to
Okay.
ask about stuff.
Okay, just want to make sure. So you head there with him, and actually before I do that, anyone else need to do anything, or are you good?
No. I think Fervis is done dealing with Carson's problem by now.
Yep. Keep in mind, Fergus, you don't have Thane,
Yeah.
so your hours are pretty much negligible right now.
Yeah, I know.
So just
So
keep
he's
that in
just-
mind for now.
Yeah, he's just sort of tinkering right now with the dwarves.
You're probably trying to get that acid and like how to use it properly.
Yeah, he's
But-
just sort of like scribbling like notes down with the dwarves. It's like, okay.
Alright. So, Esther, you head there with Gariel. And as the bird kind of nods to you and looks at him and goes, "Oh, hello, knowledgeable. Welcome to the island."
Gariel, this is the lady of the island that I was speaking to you about.
And he is just looking up to her in absolute, like, black jaw amazement. And he
This
kind of, like,
is-
just bows as deeply as he can manage. You see his tail rise higher than his head, and his horns kind of brush the ground. And he kind of looks up and he goes, "The monarch, I've been told you're called?" And she bobs her head. Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Sorry.
Um, she turns to you, Esther, as you go to speak.
We found an artifact of sorts. And I was wondering if it would be possible for you to take a look at it.
Do you need me to empty the courtyard?
If you'd like, you could do the time thing.
I'm not sure this one would be able to handle it comfortably.
Fair enough. Yes, the courtyard being emptied would be appreciated.
You see her close her eyes and the firebirds all flock. And she turns to all the dwarves here and just locks eyes with each of them as they all get up and begin to empty out. You notice that she's got like a minor following, that a lot of people who tend to meditate here have a kind of overshirt that they wear. The cover is just almost like a single sleeve that's dyed in like the same blue color.
You've gained a bit of a following.
They seem to have taken an enjoyment to the clarity of thought and the advice that I'm able to give.
It's interesting that they would inspire their dress after you.
Well, plumage is a sign of respect to our culture, as I explained to them, and they seem to have taken that into heart.
Well, I'll be sure to keep that in mind.
What is your device? No one. And you watch as he kind of reaches his hand. You see his hand up to the elbow disappear, and he pulls out his focus. And as it glances, you see like every feather on the monarch's body kind of lift on end, and then settle back and kind of not aggressive pose. But if a bird could look shook, this bird is shook.
Is everything alright?
I didn't know that could be created.
What is it?
I can only explain as an equivalent.
To the crystallized Ix?
Imagine if you inlaid and crystallized a human soul
What?
and impressed valuable gems into the surface such that you could see the feature through the crystal. It is valuable beyond description, but ultimately not particularly communicable. It is useful through what it is and the nature of what it might mean as its creation, not through what it is.
How was it created?
Couldn't even fathom.
Is it Fane?
It is, or it was.
So what is the purpose of it?
I don't know. As I've mentioned, it could be a way to honor. It could be a way to observe the Fane. For all we know, it could be the remains of something that was so ingrained with that it managed to leave behind a physical essence.
But You said Fane don't necessarily die.
They don't. I'm. Perhaps it is a symbol of victory of an Ix war party?
But what would be the point?
Fear?
But it helps him conduct his magic. How is that possible?
What is his form of magic?
I forget.
And Garo kind of speaks up and says, the divine words that make magic. She kind of looks at him and says, and you have learned this. Tilts his hands to a degree. I was only able to learn it after gaining this artifact. It gives me a greater connection to God of magic and God of knowledge. And you see her kind of hone in on that. And like visually as the eyes, as you come to learn, kind of twist in the song. Ah. In that case, I may know what that is. Young one, do you know the history of magic in these words? And
Is he
speaks kind of
cutting?
Go ahead.
Is he cutting out for anybody else?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
a bit.
I'll kind of speak up a bit, hopefully it helps. But she mentions that she asks him if he understands the history of in the universe and explains once more basically the 3 resets. And when magic was and when eventually upon the death of the first being and the remainders being
The remainders being what?
the remainders of the first god. Sorry, the remainders of the creatures that first were created.
Mm-hmm.
Those that survived the universe restart are the god.
Okay.
And she says it's theoretically possible that the old form of some god of knowledge or magic was inlaid with fame, and that is a piece of their remain. Or as I said, it could simply be a Ix trophy of war. Or something I can't fathom right now.
Do you know where?
Close.
Do you know where we might be able to learn a bit more?
As far as I'm aware, only Fane could know more. And I am the greatest concentration of Fane that I know exists, other than the Esyther.
Other than the what? Sorry.
The is itself, which you would know from past conversation with the Fane, is the kind of word for the creator being that all the Fane were born from,
Is it?
and like are all a piece of.
Is it possible to speak to this?
Young one, I am a sliver of what the is. If you could not communicate with me by commingling, unless they chose to speak to you, it is.
Sorry, unless they chose to.
Speak with you, it is nigh.
Would there be a way to possibly get their attention?
Destroy the Ix more powerful than any other. Cleanse the multiverse of the Ix.
And how would I start?
Instigate another reset of the universe. It takes events of a magnitude beyond comprehension.
How would I begin destroying X? How would I be able to locate them?
You look for where corruption is born. They can often be found in the darkest of places.
Is there something I could use, potentially, to be able to detect them?
Your Fane. But I'm sure if you practice long enough, your fame could teach you different ways to detect them. I think your protective friend Ashton might be doing something similar.
Oh,
Does this one wish to remain without?
pardon
Do you
me?
see Gari? She gestures towards Gariel, and he kind of says, I think for now it would be best if I went with her, personally.
Why is
The-
that?
The pursuit of knowledge is... It's more than simple function. It is a holy... While I think that the Fae are a wonderful reason, I think it is wrong of me as to use them to my own gain. I may consult them, I may speak to those who have them. But I don't believe it would be right for me to rely on them for my knowledge and just have it handed to me rather than work for it.
Well, if it's any consultation, you're currently standing next to somebody who has vein.
I will keep that in mind.
In fact, most of the group has it.
That would explain how you guys tend to go very silent for long periods of time and then suddenly come to a decision.
Yeah.
It's effective, shut up.
It may be suspicious, but at least they don't know what we're thinking.
It's much better than the let us convene 1 second and huddle in the corner and whisper.
Yeah, no, it's definitely effective, not denying that. He kind of
Please allow us a moment to gossip.
and you see Gariel kind of like kneel before the monarch and say, "You have a. I assume the sleeve is not required to meditate with you, yes? I'm already beholden to a powerful figure." She kind of nods and gestures out with her wings. The courtyard is available for all who wish for a place. Your gods are welcome here, just as they are anywhere else. And he kind of nods and looks to you, Esther, and says, I think I'm going to meditate and speak to those, if that's alright. Do you
I'm
want to
not
join
going.
me?
Couldn't she meditate while holding Yenben?
Yeah, meditation, depending on what your personal, like Esther's personal way of meditating is.
Sitting.
Yeah, so as long as it makes sense for the way that you tend to sit, meditation is a mental thing, not
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yep.
Yeah, she'll just kind of sit next to him and just. I really would like. Oh! She'll, speak up just really quick. There was an attack at my village by a creature known to us as a bone claw. Do you know of a creature like this?
She kind of. You see her close her eyes for a moment and cast her mind back. And, do you have some way to create an image that I could see one?
She'll take out a piece of paper and pretty much draw the best as she can to her recollection. Just
And you see that Gariel kind of begins to help you out with the sketches, as he is almost masterful in the way that he can create a visage out of just a few lines.
You need to teach me more of this.
Oh, it's good for being able to sketch artifacts, and anything you find could be useful for later research and this kind of. And he
It's-
kind of takes over and does it himself. And is this okay? And as far as you can tell, a near perfect rendition.
It's absolutely wonderful. Horrifying, but wonderful. I would really like to learn
That
to
might
do
be my
this.
personal bias against it personally.
No, this is a near perfect copy.
Oh no, I mean why it's terrifying. That might be a personal emotion coming out. And he shows it up to the Firebird and the Monarch, and she looks at it and, these are not creatures of my knowledge, no.
Do you know if it's possible for... Do you know if there are any enemies of Thoth?
I could hazard a guess based on my knowledge of what gods exist, but
A guess
Thoth
is enough.
he doesn't have. He is neutral to the extreme. He is a being of knowledge, and only those who would seek to destroy knowledge
Are there
or possess it
gods?
for themselves.
And are those powerful who seek to destroy and possess?
None that would naturally come across Thoth.
Are undead more susceptible to the X?
Any who are willing to do evil and have a functioning mind are vulnerable. The
Hmm.
undead could be possessed a bit easier, perhaps, but it's more likely they'll take a sentient living creature close and take them over.
There is a look on Esyther's face as she says that, of just kind of gears turning, and she does not look pleased by this information at all.
Do you see kind of Gariel kind of put his hand on your arm? Esther, can you guys have other jobs? I'm relatively certain it cannot get up here. I think I'm safe.
It's not that. I don't worry about it coming up here. I worry about why it wanted you in the first place.
Maybe I just flirted with the wrong person.
She kind of shoves him carefully while holding this
Yep.
child.
Yeah, but I think he just kind of smiles and says, relax, it's something we'll figure out with time. At the moment we're not in danger, we'll figure out why later.
Speaking of out of danger, there are a few things that I need to discuss with you at a later date. It can wait.
Absolutely. If that's alright with you, Esther, I believe it's alright if everyone comes back to the courtyard. Later
Of
on.
course. I'm alright with that.
I think she nods. You can see the Firebirds begin to kind of flock back, and people seem to take this as a sign to return as it fills out once more. Gesundheit. And as you Gesundheit twice.
Always
And
comes
as
in
you
twos.
two nope, gonna leave that one joke there.
Stop.
I was gonna say one for each nostril. It just wasn't funny.
Oh, I thought it was going a much different area, but alright.
No, because I'm a sweet innocent child. How dare you?
No, you fucking not.
So as you guys, or as the two of you sit there and begin your meditation, you see a few of the dwarves begin to take interest and begin discussing with you. Esther, a few of them you're familiar. One of them offers you a sleeve actually to add to your clothes. It actually slides on top of your current clothes if you'd like.
Yeah, Esther gladly takes it. I mean, she's been meditating with the monarch for fucking almost 80 hours now.
And they take it, and you guys begin to focus. And it's less of a quiet meditation that you used to. Every once in a while, one or two people will break off, usually with Garion in tow.
Oh, wait.
And kind of just go a little bit to the side and begin talking quietly to each other about what they're meditating on.
Esther's going to just, for a second, she's going to kind of look at the monarch and just, later on this evening, if I come to see you again, may we have some time to speak alone?
And as she blinks, you see that everything is frozen around you.
Oh.
Oh, wait.
I wanted to speak about, the astral plane.
As many mortal does when they think on it long enough.
You see, I've crossed over once.
Mhm.
Once unwillingly and once in a sense, willingly. And I was given a
did.
message
Which was?
to be very careful about ever returning.
And what is your knowledge of the astral plane?
I know it's, well, from what I remember, it was like a sea of stars. I was on my back and I was just floating. But I couldn't feel anything. It was senseless, but yet so full of sensation it was almost numbing. And there was a ship. A very big, large ship, and somebody with almost a womanly voice. She took what was mine. And she gave me these new abilities, these new powers, but she took my psionic abilities.
What would you say if I told you that there exists ancient knowledge that I have through
Through your what?
my ancestors, those who held the fame that I hold now before?
I would be very, very interested in knowing it.
Then you should know. On the astral plane, time does not
Time doesn't.
pass. You know the nearest. Every being exists in a state of singular being unless some other force. And time is not a force that acts upon any creature. You may experience it because that is how your brain is trained to work, but time does not.
So if
What
time
that
does.
means
Sorry, continue.
is, I'm sorry. What that means is, I have knowledge of an ancient world, among many acts that existed on that plane. Many are from the previous existence of the universe. If time does not pass on that plane, it's possible that those same creatures that existed at that time remain
And
unaffected by those.
unaffected by.
Those around them. If they chose to separate themselves from other creatures, they would remain as is for all of eternity.
And what are these creatures?
Of that I cannot say.
Why?
I do not know. I've never been there.
Do your ancestors know?
None of us dare go. On the astral plane, if you, with a mortal body, myself included, ever journey, you leave behind a trail, as only your soul can journey, not your body. If that cord is ever severed, there is no recovery.
Is there a way to strengthen that cord?
Journey there with your body.
How?
That's as far as anyone is aware. Only the people who were born on that plane are able to do so, or through extreme magic.
What kind of extreme magic?
Those that the giants of old, once every 1,000 years or so, someone would eventually learn how to cast magic of that. For you shorter-lived creatures, that might be a bit more frequent. But it would take a caster of incredible skill.
May I attempt something?
Always.
And Esther's gonna take a pause, and like when Aquarius had passed on and they were trying to find her again, she's going to try to reach out in the same way that she did, using the kind of meditative strength that she's gained over the numerous hours she spent with the monarch.
Alright. Go ahead and roll me a raw intelligence check.
Esther fucking dies. Again, part 3. Fuck!
Part 3.
Fuck.
I'm gonna ask you now. Would you like to use the feign for advantage?
Yes.
Use a feign point.
Please. This is a bad idea. Ah! +3, my fucking ass!
You attempt to reach out, and I'm going to use an analogy here that's going to seem kind of crude. Your soul, for a moment,
Oh, you're cutting
Apparently,
out.
it was bad
Yep.
enough that the entire
Nope, that was
internet
just a
was
pause.
having- Okay,
that was just a pause.
we heard we heard the sound of something breaking almost.
It was so crude that
Electronically.
Conrad was
Nope.
not allowed to say it.
That was the sound of me clicking with my keyboard. My
Okay.
mouse. I apologize. Sorry, not used this laptop yet.
The FBI agent listening in was just like, nope.
Yeah. So, for a moment, your soul feels kind of like if you put on a shoe that's like far too big and like shook your foot.
Yeah.
Your soul is the foot. But the shoe remains on because like the laces are tightened.
Okay, fair enough.
So while you kind of push out and being in this like projected form that you always turn into while you're frozen in time, it makes it feel easier, but it's not enough.
I guess she'll kind of just collapse back into her body, in a sense.
And as she does, you see the monarch kind of like bow their beak down to touch you on the forehead, and you feel like a cleansing calm across your body as your muscles relax and kind of the tightness in your jaw and neck relax and fade away.
Thank you.
Be careful, young one. Recovering a soul is not easy.
But it is... I need to know.
Then perhaps take a page out of your friend's spell and study. You are a wizard. Your knowledge can do more for you than sheer effort and sheer force of will.
Alright. That's really all I needed to speak to you about. I apologize for taking up your time. Or, I suppose not.
She looks around and says, I would say you don't owe me anything, don't worry. But I will be here, as always. And time resumes. And you see Gariel give you like a shocked look as you kind of return back to being. And he kind of just looks away.
I'm confused.
He seems very surprised when looking upon you.
As though I'll just kind of... Are you okay?
Yes, just for a moment you looked like a sandstorm.
How did you see that?
With my eye?
No. No, you shouldn't be able to see that.
Perhaps knowledge is more powerful than you think. I don't have an answer for you.
As though I'll kind of look at the monarch. Is he able to see that?
She looks at you as... Apparently.
How?
She just kind of... You see like a happy fluff of feathers around the neck and says, knowledge, my dear. It's very powerful.
Oh my god, speaking of knowledge, where's that egg?
Which one?
The riddle
That
we've forgotten
remember
about
the
that I
the
put.
no, oh, I have not forgotten. The egg that Esther had found when exploring on the roof that she probably shouldn't have been exploring on.
Well, where did you guys keep it? Is it in the party inventory?
I forget where I put it.
I assumed it was on
Check.
Esther.
Yeah, that's entirely Esther.
That's Esther's pet project.
Yeah,
Also, you
Esther
have it on
kept
hand.
it on her then.
Literal pet project, though.
Where'd that thing come from again?
The castle.
On the roof.
Okay.
The roof.
Mhm.
Specifically.
As you do.
It's kind of hanging out.
Esyther shouldn't be up on there, but she decided to go up on there, and then she found it. Speaking of knowledge, then, she's going to kind of pull it out. Have you ever seen something like this?
He gives you a strange look and goes, is that a trick question?
No, I'm being very, very serious here.
An egg?
Okay, no, smartass. Not
No, not that egg. A digi-egg. Oh, sorry, continue.
I was gonna fucking say it.
what?
Continue.
You egg? No, fuck, what was the riddle again? It had something to do with water and earth.
Ariel just put it in the stuff to remember chat.
Yep.
Okay. She's gonna go, I found this when exploring the castle. It came with a riddle. The egg will come to fruition when earth is in the air and fire and water are able to mix. I've done every variation of this that I can think of.
And he actually asked you to explain it to him, and you guys take a bit of your time while meditating to discuss it. He doesn't seem to have any particularly fancy ideas. He theorizes something alchemical, possibly, with fire and water mixing. Maybe there's some kind of water that can be lit on fire, almost like what we would know as like a Greek fire type thing.
Wait a minute. No, but oil would be a barrier, wouldn't it?
Of the modern day, we don't know how Greek fire is made, so we don't know if it's oil.
I don't know what Greek fire is.
It's a fire that it was some kind of liquid that we know existed, that was able to burn underwater, but we don't know what the substance.
Oh fuck, I didn't know about that. That's so freaking cool.
Yeah, but we have no idea how it's made. It's like living concrete, we have no idea how it's
It's like what, sorry?
we figured out
It
Roman
was
concrete.
it was salt water.
Oh,
Yep.
did we?
Yep.
It was salt water.
All the
Oh, okay.
recipes called for
Cool.
water, none of them specified salt water. When somebody tried salt water, it was like, hey, this works.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
It's
Okay.
the sort of thing where nobody writes down in recipes that we use chicken eggs. It's just an egg. Of course it's a chicken. We don't have to
That's
think
amazing.
about that.
That's an amazing analogy, by the way.
That is actually
I
had
read
this
it.
conversation
I didn't-
before.
I didn't come up with it, I read it.
Still
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's like a Tumblr post shit.
Okay.
That's really neat. Holy shit.
Anyhow.
Wait a minute. She's just gonna kind of get up and just. I have to go find the child. And she's gonna go find Furvis.
For a moment, he points at Yenben and just goes, "Oh, okay."
And she's off to go find Furvis.
So if I'm not mistaken, Purvis, you're in the same room as Esther and Rosalind, right? Xenia and Rosalind, right?
Hi.
Yes, Rosalind. He's just sort of observing. He's
Okay.
always sort of been fascinated by enchanting, but he's never been around it.
Okay.
Xenia's in a
And
corner potioning.
Yeah, and he's also
Right.
kind of like looking over, like, oh, that's interesting.
Back on my bullshit. No, back on my bullshit. You don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, she's mixing. They are mixing some kind of potion that you've never even fathomed before. But as you kind of begin to step towards to ask what's going on, Esther bursts in the door, child in hand, clay egg in another.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, so there is this riddle that needs to be solved in order for this egg to come into quote unquote fruition.
Okay.
And I was wondering if I tell you this riddle, if it sparks any sort of idea. Okay? And she'll kind of relay the riddle to Furvis. And just, is there any chemical way that this is possible?
Can I make an alchemy check?
Go for it.
22.
+4 because it's identification. I'll
Yep.
say. So 26.
Yeah, 26. I love Furvis.
Getting those Alsana numbers.
Like,
results.
Esther just really wants to fucking hatch this egg, man.
Furvis, just you think of a couple things. Ironically, most of them are hydroxide and oxide related. Where you know that oil fires are one way to basically light water on fire, and different kinds of oxidization are able to produce flames when water is thrown onto it.
Okay.
What that would do to clay being fired effectively, you don't know.
We could always form a hypothesis out of those and test it using the scientific process.
But it also says Earth is in the air.
Yeah, on that end, you're not sure, Fergus.
Yeah, to that end, I'm not exactly sure.
Perhaps we have to throw it?
Perhaps that might have to pertain to smoke and ash.
Wait a minute. No, that's right. That makes sense. So this process has to, in some way, involve smoke and ash. That makes sense. Okay.
Fergus, you would know of a type of flame you could produce that the smoke is able to be reignited. You don't know how water would mix into that, though, because it has nothing to do with water.
Okay. So is there a chance to sort of mix those flames so you have an oil fire and then then flames caused by that certain type of ash? That certain type of flame.
Let's make an alchemy check, and if you guys want to spend a little bit of time to find out, go for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
25.
Okay. There is no bonus there because it's just mixing a potion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you easily enough produce it. You have to kind of take a couple steps to get some of the ingredients you need because they're not particularly hard to make.
But they're not
a bit
easy to come
time-consuming.
by. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't find them naturally. You have to kind of create them because most of them
Yeah.
are synthetic. And you create it, and so how are you guys going about this process of using? Because it basically it produces a powder
Yeah.
that the fire can be relit. It's a lot of hydrogen and all.
Can we try doing it in a sense around the egg?
Through what process? You have alchemy tools at your disposal. You have
Yeah.
whatever you
Is
guys
there
can
any way
create
to
with the
like
thing.
have a housing for the egg to put it in that sort of situation?
Like a testing chamber.
Yes.
Okay, so kind of make like a ring stand for it to sit on, like a tripod, and then like a
Yeah.
box for it to be contained in.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough to construct, especially if Esther, you want to lend a few fame points to help just create it out of nothingness, but you could create it with stuff around the
Yeah.
building if you'd like. And as you guys do so, and Xenia and Rosin, you guys can see this happening. Like they're just doing it. As you basically spread the powder and light it, it takes a bit to catch, but once it does so very quickly and spreads fast. And the smoke all rises in one big puff, and you drop the equivalent of a match into it, and it relights the flames in the air. And for a moment, it just kind of... It's in a housing, so it kind of explodes, but not really. It just comes out like a bit of a whoomph.
I was gonna say, Ash is not in the room, but he's outside enough to hear an explosion if that happens.
It's not like a... Nothing concussive occurs.
Yep,
It's just
we're gonna.
a great expansion of air. So it might blow everyone in the room's hair, but it won't make much sound. And as you do so, you look at the egg. It seems unchanged.
Aww. Well, there was no water added. Now let's attempt with adding water, shall we?
Okay.
We can place the egg in a shallow water bath.
Okay. And then cause an oil fire, possibly.
And then continue with the procedure.
Okay.
So let's change a variable.
Okay.
Give me one more alchemy check, because you're basically going to have to make a surface, like a semi-permeable surface, that the water won't come through, but the smoke can still rise through.
Yeah. 16.
16. You make basically a distillation, so that the water enters in, the smoke enters in one end, rises up, goes through a pipe, goes into the water, and as like bubbles of smoke come up, it goes up through the water once more. Relighting is going to be very difficult, though. Give me a sleight of hand check to see if you can manage it.
Sleight of hand?
Esther can also
Yes.
just stick her hand in.
Okay.
That's a fair point, actually, yeah. You
Esther's
can produce
immune to
flame.
fire damage.
Well, I mean, it's more so being underwater. But yeah, you can produce flame, so yeah, that would work.
Resist fire as well. We're both fire genasi.
Yeah. Also be like, oh, I can just stick my hand in.
That's fair. I mean, to be fair, so can I.
All right,
You
and
do. You go through the process, you light it, the smoke comes up, you go to relight it under the water, and the kind of bubbles that surrounds the uh, egg. And once more, not nearly as concussive, but you see the water all kind of like splatter to the sides of the glass container it's in.
Yeah.
And as the egg, you look at it, it remains unchanged.
fuck.
Okay.
May I point one thing out?
Okay.
Earth
Yeah?
is supposed to be in air. What if the stone egg is Earth? If that's the case, it's right now in water, not air.
We attempted it when it was in air.
We have to have all 4 variables somehow in the same.
Okay, well, how about this? We
Or-
suspend the egg over the water.
Yes.
Light the water on fire. That way, Earth is still in the air and fire is mixing with water.
That could
Conrad,
be.
is there just one answer to this, or are there numerous answers?
I have only thought of one, but if a couple conditions are met, you could find another one. The riddle is meant for one answer. There are others. I don't know what they are. You'd have to give me a good enough explanation for why it would work.
Okay.
But I've only conceived of one.
Okay.
The truth is, there's no answer. He's just waiting until we say something cool enough, and he goes, "Yeah, sure, that works."
This isn't the 10 containers thing.
I'm joking.
I'm just waiting for a cool answer. Fuck.
No, it's
Alright.
either an answer that would make sense with what this egg really
Yeah,
is.
I'm just
basically,
joking.
Just to check, one more thing.
Yeah, so I'll make another alchemy
this,
check.
Is this
Yes.
answer something that we can actually manipulate,
Oh, yeah.
manufacture? Okay, good.
Yeah.
You
Just
would
want to
need
make sure we're
specific.
not waiting for some kind of weird equinox or something.
No, you would need some specific knowledge for it to work, but
Where is there any? Well, the Firebird doesn't know anything about it, does she? I've already asked her.
Tell us, Conrad, where can we find the answer?
No, I'm
if I-
curious if
No,
I've already spoken to her about it.
you spoke
think
to her
you
about
did.
what the egg is. If I will say, you guys never mentioned the riddle to her. You mentioned there was a riddle. You never asked her what about it.
Really?
Are you serious?
you-
No.
You brought her the egg, said, "Hey, do you know what this is?" And she went, "No," and you guys went, "Okay."
I was just gonna.
I was
sit
I was
for a
just as
second.
shocked as you guys are.
I was just gonna sit for a second and just. Fuck. She's gonna go look over at Rosalind. She's gonna go, Rosalind, can you take Yanben for a minute?
Alright, one moment, and she'll take Yanben.
Half a second. Fervis, set up for the next experiment. I'll be
Okay.
right back. And she can take the fucking egg and run back to the
Can I
fucking
call
Firebird.
over Xenia for possible help and possible advantage?
Xenia, you want to spend a bit of time on it? You will lose one of the hours.
You could just slap the guidance instead.
I smack him with guidance because I'm so close.
Okay. Yeah. I
Guidance
don't-
takes an action. Just smack.
Smack.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
Foot reaches over, but both Xenia's hands are busy. Just be like, oh, take it.
Cool. Sorry about this.
I start
Yeah.
running back to the Firebird.
Okay, so he's gonna make another alchemy check for this.
As Esyther goes outside, she sees like Asha like in like a meditative pose and like glitching through the floor like he's in Skyrim.
Yeah, kind of.
Esther just keeps running past. She's seen this shit before.
Whoever's
Okay,
making
so-
a check to set up, but
Yeah.
so
17
You had
plus
D4
slash R1D4.
total.
20.
Okay. So Esther, as you run to the Firebird, the Monarch, and she looks down and says, "You've returned so soon."
I have a question. You remember that egg I found?
Yes.
There was a riddle associated with it. She's gonna tell the
Oh.
Firebird the riddle. Do you have
And
any
she can-
possible insight?
Fire contains. What was it? Water contains flame. What was the exact word?
I don't remember the exact wording, I only wrote down the gist of it.
Fire and water mix. Okay, just want to make sure that I mentioned that one part. She looks down at you and says, "The only way that water and fire mix that I'm aware of is the tear of Firebird."
Are you?
Oh,
This is out of
I-
character. Just, are you kidding me?
nice.
I will remind you that they only shed their tear upon passing. That is how the crops are created. When the tear reaches the earth, it fertilizes it and produces
Did
life.
we
Wait a
get some
minute.
Firebird tears when they
Wait a
died when we were
minute.
trying to purify Ashta?
No, because it wasn't tears. You guys used their psionic
Y'all.
strength.
Yeah, they
No, but
just
some of
created
them
the garden
died.
around the place.
Oh.
Some of them died, yes,
okay.
but they dropped around the
Y'all?
courtyard to
Yes?
produce.
Yeah.
The island's in the fucking air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We were thinking about that at the time initially, but you know, nothing seemed to work, so Right. Firebird tier at some point, which means that next time a Firebird dies, we might have to go on mercenary and get the tier before it can hit the ground.
Alternately, I mean, it could be something that, like, you could try something that was produced by the tier.
I doubt it's gonna be that easy, but sure. Go for
Very
it.
curious, and I know this is going to sound a little bit morbid. How long do firebirds live for?
Oh god.
Typically until they're killed. Some choose to pass as they feel they've lived a long enough life.
We've got a roomy echo going on there, Conrad.
There are,
I'm gonna mute for a second just because I gotta use the washroom.
Alright.
and probably none in that mindset at this current moment.
Also of note, we could potentially, because I know we've had our, we've had our,
Warcraft?
no, we've had our Fane, like, identify chemicals and stuff before that we basically ingest. We could, like, get some of the, like, some of the vegetation produced and the, like, dirt produced from the, like, from the tiers and see if they could, like, reverse engineer it. And then we
Esther's
could
fucking
imagineer
outside.
it.
Esther's outside shoveling dirt in her mouth. She's like, "Look, we need to
What the
figure it
fuck?
Okay. I will say, so when you ask if there are any firebirds near the end of their life, the monarch mentions there are firebirds here who have lived hundreds of years. I'm sure some are in preparation. If you'd like, I can send word through.
Tell that it is for a very, very important reason.
It
Curiosity.
being we want to solve this riddle.
Yeah.
Know this. To the greatest of our knowledge, if a firebird's tear does not reach the ground, its body never returns to its resting state.
That would be a thing.
What do you mean?
When all the life that the firebird had is released in the single tear, when it reaches the ground, it produces life once more and continues the cycle.
Wait,
You will-
this egg is made out of earth. If the firebird tear happened to hit the egg, would it then
may be-
pass through?
I don't know. It may be as you theorize, but I just want you to be armed with this knowledge before you ask. Because know that you are asking at least a risk of leaving the eternal cycle.
Understandable.
Can I offer a meta question?
What's the question?
I was just gonna say, does the tier have to just full clearance from the bird to the ground, or can it like hit a gutter and go down and then eventually meet the ground?
It must reach the ground.
Just
As
eventually.
long as it reaches the ground, it's fine.
Does
Okay,
it have
so
to be ground or is it specifically earth?
Earth. It has to be fertile earth, basically.
so if our running theory is that the egg being on the island is enough, which I think is what we're going with as of now, we could just place the egg in the by the garden area and have a tier go on it, and if it doesn't do anything, then it just rolls off and hits the ground.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, up to you.
Alright.
The firebird, the monarch, closes her eyes, and you can feel almost like a pulse of energy come from her. And one firebird flies down to her pedestal. Its feathers have lost most of its luster. The tufts above its ears are low. It moves with this like arthritic motion, and it looks up to you. And would you like to come in?
Yes, please.
You are one of the new residents, yes?
I am, yes.
You have asked for a elder bird past the prime. What use do you have of me?
The monarch said that you were preparing to move on in the cycle.
Yes. I believe in soon time, my life that could be produced from me could be.
I wanted to
could be
ask,
one of comfort.
I needed to ask, would you be willing to, in a sense, share your tear?
With
There is a mystery that has been plaguing me for a very long time. I believe you must have seen it before. The egg that usually rests atop this castle.
ah, I've seen it. Yes.
There is a riddle for it. That when fire mixes with water and the earth is in the air, then the egg will come into fruition.
Is this the egg you hold in your hand?
It is, yes.
I will do this. If only to give the next generation
Thank you.
I
Please.
ask you do one thing for me, however.
Of course. What is it that you desire?
Place the egg on my breast and allow me to be near the earth as
Alright, I will. Does he mean
and
now?
whenever you're ready, basically.
Oh, okay. She'll kind of kneel down and do as he says.
He kind of lets himself
Maybe call the
settle
party
into your
over.
arms.
Esther's just gonna feign over to the party and just, you might want to get to the courtyard.
And anyone who wishes can zoom over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing you'll
Actually,
bring all their
basically, be like,
supplies.
hey, everyone, let's go.
You'll bring all their
Okay.
supplies with them.
Time to eat over to the courtyard.
Rosalind, will you be coming or no?
Presumably, with Yen Ben.
Okay.
Great
And Ashton?
fire is great.
Ashta, yay, nay?
Yep.
Alright.
I say basically went and grabbed everyone and was like, hey,
Yeah. Well, they're. Yeah, as you finish glitching into the ground.
Yep.
And as you each gather around, you see Esther clutching a old firebird very clearly. You notice that the perches all around the courtyard are filled. There isn't an empty space to be seen. And the monarch watches very closely as this elder bird is held in Esther's arms, and the egg is kind of placed to sit in the feathers of its breast. Its eye is turned so that if all fails, the tear will fall to the earth. And as you kind of watch, you see one of the firebirds fly overhead, and what floats to the ground kind of next to that elderly firebird is a daisy chain. Very carefully put together, seemingly with beaks and claws. As you can see, small little scratches of it being kind of forced to be put together.
Esther will gently place it on his head.
He kind of nods at you, and you see him turn his eye towards the egg. And a single tear begins to form on its snout and its beak. And as it begins to roll off, you see as it leaves the eyeball, starting from that eye that did drop the tear, the body just slowly turns gray, in like a radial pattern. And as the whole body turns gray, it becomes heavy, and the tear finally drops off its beak and lands on the egg. and I need everyone watching to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh fuck.
As a
shit.
blinding flash of light.
Ring for
Your hand
advantage.
sent. Go for it.
Fuck.
Is this a magical effect?
15.
Yes.
Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, I'll say yeah.
I would
Can
get
Esyther use Feign
advantage.
for...
It's Constitution, so no.
Advantage. For the
He wouldn't have had the sunglasses on right now.
Would he have thought to have been preventing himself from being blinded while looking at it?
That's why I was saying he probably wouldn't.
Probably not. Okay. So the only person who makes it is Rosalind.
Oh, fuck.
Is it permanent?
I don't suppose Asha could. I don't suppose Asha could throw himself in front of someone when this is happening.
No, this is instantaneous.
Alright.
When it comes to spells and attacks, they have a build-up, they have components. This is...
Yep, I got.
I swear to God, I thought you were gonna say and nothing happens. I was gonna be so mad.
Well, that's the joy of being able to say that like 6 or 7 times before this happens.
I know. Anyways.
So, as all but Rosalind are temporarily blinded. Rosalind. As you watch, the tear mixes with the egg, and the shell goes from a gray clay to a rainbow of colors, a prismatic. And for a moment, it glows, as everyone else sees, bright as any can be. But you just manage to be seated in a way that it doesn't completely blind you. And as the light fades, and you still see the rest of your party rubbing their eyes, trying to clear off their vision.
Lesser restoration, just so we can get early.
This is very quick going on. You see the egg immediately just shatter to pieces.
Oh, I really want to see this. Fuck.
And what sits in the palm of Esther's hand is what looks to be a firebird crossed with a dragon.
I'm sorry, what? A firebird crossed with a
Firebird crossed
what?
with a dragon.
Oh my fucking
It has
God.
feathers. It has the sporadic eye. And it has that kind of, instead of having full paws like a dragon would have, its claws have that kind of like rigid hook like you see like an eagle's. And its scales are a prismatic.
We
Can
have a
Esther
see
prismatic
it?
Firebird dragon.
As you all eventually clear your eyes, it's curled up, kind of like a cat would be, in like a crescent moon shape.
How big
in
is
Esther's
it?
hands. Maybe the size of your 2 palms put together.
Esther's just kind of looking down at it in awe.
Asher kind of rubs his eyes, just like, oh, what happened? Another one?
Huh.
We
What on...
do seem to attract them at this point.
Esther's
And
just staring.
as you kind of like, you see its chest begin to rise and feel the first breath come out, the firebird's body is gone. Which you know is natural for the firebirds when they pass. As it takes its first breath and breathes in, time freezes. And this time you guys, along with seeing each other in your primordial form, the monarch is a radiant beacon of
Out of curiosity,
Also-
what is Yenben? Because he's here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yetman, because he's not frozen, doesn't become
Ah, okay.
primordial.
At this point, Asher, if he can, fumbles the glasses on.
Yeah, you can. It's not a blinding light, but it's bright. She's
Yeah,
a
but he's expecting
body.
more at this point.
Yeah, fair.
Esther still hasn't
And-
moved. She's just staring at it.
Primordial. I don't know if Furvis has a primordial
Yep.
form.
Furvis, you do.
Oh shit.
Your primordial form is kind of like a candle in a dark room. It's just this warm glow of pinkish reddish light. given humanoid form and wings under,
Wings that are.
made of flames on the back.
Mhm.
And
That's
as you guys watch this tiny dragon open its eye, you could not even tell what color if you were asked.
Sorry, what?
As the dragon opens its eyes, you could not even, if you were asked, you could not say what color its eyes were. You all hear in your head, in the most commanding, powerful voice you've heard. Would you like to commingle?
Yes.
What?
Who?
Huh.
Yes.
Is Fervus applied to this?
Yes, you are Fergus.
I got
Words
paid.
you've never heard before.
What?
Words you've never heard before. Would you like to commingle? Are spoken in your as you feel this sudden influx of knowledge in your brain.
Ash kind of like glances over at the candlestick and he's just like, oh, Christ, just say yes. It's gonna be a lot to take in.
Yes.
We'll get you some ibuprofen later.
Yes.
And
Sure.
as you guys all agree, all of your vision switches to the dragon. And colors you've never fathomed to you. And briefly you switch back. And you hear in your minds, I am the claw of Godith. It is nice to meet you.
The
Pardon, but-
Claw of Godith?
Godith. Which you
I-
remember is the creature that the Fane understand as being the first creation of the Is.
Oh.
Or in
You-
some stories, what created the.
Are you the first being?
No. But I am an instrument.
And you created the Is? Or were created
No,
by?
no. He said he's the instrument of that being.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that.
It's okay.
What does a claw imply? He's still rubbing his eyes.
One that is able to manipulate a tool.
That tool being.
Whatever I wish.
You seem to be, well, high intelligence for being just created, at least in your current incarnation.
This is my first incarnation, but my position grants me a vast. I have spoken to you as a thing.
As a
Okay, you're
what?
breaking up a lot. First incarnation, position as something.
My position grants me a vast amount of fame,
Okay.
Noted.
and I would ask you, as a thank you for releasing me, what is it that you desire?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
And with that, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break.
Oh no!
How
no,
bad
this
can
is
this
probably
go?
Like, this is like a genie thing, isn't it?
Monkey's paw.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. It's like,
Yeah.
Literally, he's the claw.
mhm. Like,
Monkey's
So?
paw.
Kind of like the genie style of ask for a wish and it gets granted in a twisted way.
That's what I mean. That's why I was like, which way can this get fucked up?
mm-hmm.
So, I will be able to be,
You'll be able
but
to.
I'll be muted for a quick 5 minutes while I grab a glass of water. Feel
Alright.
free to figure out what it is that your characters would each desire.
I
Oh,
mean,
so we
is
get
this
one each?
each of us, or is this as a group?
Each.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It
Oh
makes
no.
it worse somehow.
Y'all realize what Esther's gonna say, right?
No, there's so many things Esther could say.
Well, what's the thing that she would desire the most?
Ooh, that is a
back.
knee-jerk want.
I don't. Oh god.
Oh, hey John, welcome to your second session properly playing this character. What is his greatest desire?
Fuck.
Caius is still here too. We haven't dropped him off.
Oh, yeah,
Fuck,
Caius
what
is
is
still
Caius'
here.
You've got
greatest
two.
Desire?
Is it bad I knew mine right away?
Oh no. Oh no. There's a lot to unpack for both characters.
No. What if Caius resurrected his family?
Oh no.
I'm worried. I'm worried. I'm gonna say mine and nothing's gonna happen.
Yep. My thing is, what are the limits?
Yeah.
that's
Are
what
there
I'm
any?
curious about.
Yeah, we're gonna ask
Because-
this thing of like 7 questions first.
If there
I will
are,
say, this thing is not going to answer questions. This is a. You've basically given birth to a god, and it's giving
Oh,
you
no.
a single boon as a thanks.
Oh my god.
fuck. What are the limits to this thing? That's what I mean, though. Like, is it?
Great question. What is your greatest desire? That is what it has asked you.
But will it?
Fuck you, you're omniscient. You already know.
Of course, I already know.
Now I'm talking to the dragon, but
If it resurrects something, will it just remain decayed?
Good question.
Good question.
I get the feeling I get the feeling Conrad's
We're
having
gonna-
too much fun with us being worried about it, and we're just gonna have to say something
This
and
is
deal
up
with
to
the
how you guys-
consequences.
This is up to how you guys think your characters will respond to this reaction.
Oh,
I'm telling
is-
you now.
Is this
Oh,
how
this
Don't
we
is
waste
an
clip?
time.
immediate.
Is this how we clip into the final room after defeating the final boss? Is this it?
We did it. We did
That's
it,
up to
guys.
you guys. I will say, the final boss is prepared for level 25. Just saying. But
Yeah, no. I mean,
Don't want to do that.
having already
You know,
done
my
that.
hey, Conrad, my desire is we all level up to 20.
Fuck.
here's the thing. I'd be tempted. I'm not going to, but I'd be very tempted.
My desire is to become the most powerful wizard the world has ever seen. Oh, look at that!
Oh, that would be a fun wish.
You turn into some random bearded dude.
Yeah, you forget that this could be a monkey paw situation.
That's what I
Sure.
mean. That's
Yep.
why I'm very curious. I'm fucking scared.
Yeah, you have to go hyper specific, like hard to mess up. Like I assume Esther's like I want my kid back,
Yeah, pretty much.
or it has to be like broad enough that we can point at Conrad and be like, "You're an asshole" if he like wrecks it up too much.
Yeah.
Well, what is everybody else's? That's what I'm curious about, because
Kai's
Esther's is kind of
split
clear.
Between two, and I'm not sure about Fergus. Because I've
Xenia.
only played him for 2 sessions.
Ty,
Yeah,
you
I
said
wasn't
knew
expecting you guys to do
Xenia's.
this right now.
Mm-hmm.
You say that a lot, Conrad.
Yeah!
Guys, I give you a sandbox world. Let you do what you want. Sometimes
know.
the timing just turns out.
Then you would think you'd expect this by now.
I
Oh yeah,
know.
expect the unexpected. Thanks, Devin.
I know.
Yeah,
I think I know.
I think I know as well.
Yeah, Kai's
What-
split between 2. I'm not sure about Fergus.
What do you mean you know? Like, you think you know what your character would choose?
Yeah.
I
think I made a good
I know
decision.
generally what Caius would want, because I've played Caius the longest. A whole, like, fucking 30 sessions more than fucking Fergus, but I'm not sure what Fergus wants.
Might I add, dead fucking ass. Esther be like, you know what? I wish to have my daughter back. Fucking Esther turns back, fucking 9 months pregnant. Like,
Fuck. Fergus, do you know how to deliver?
who knows how to deliver an infant?
Boil some water.
Yes!
Oh no, but this. I wish to have my daughter alive.
Oh god,
would be
and
the thing, because if it was like I wish to have my daughter back, what if the baby's a stillborn again?
oh no,
I think
that's
I think intent is going to be fully understood.
I want.
Yeah, to
Alright.
be fair, this creature is offering it as a thanks. I don't
Yeah.
think he's gonna
So I'm
maliciously
Yeah,
assuming
I
it's
think
not
I
monkey's
think
paw.
Caius is aware of these kinds of deals
This
because
is a
he's
boo.
made them before.
Yes, Caius has talked to many gods in his lifetime.
Not like that. You know what I
have.
fucking asshole.
Xenia, I have.
It is 1:30. Who wants to go first?
Sure.
Oh god.
So, Ashton, as this question, like, bounces around each of your skulls, something clicks for you, Ashton. What do you ask of this being?
The strength to protect everyone I love.
Then this will be granted to you. Ashton.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give the specifics after session, so make sure you ask.
All right. Also, that dream
You're going.
when you got the time.
Yep. No, just ask me after session, because I'll type it out after.
All right.
You are going to be automatically granted the ultimate version of that jump in front of people ability that you have.
All right.
Oh,
The highest level of it that I had planned.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't like that.
Just remind me after session to type it out for you.
Gotcha.
Who would like to go next?
Caius.
Guys, as you kind of grasp onto this concept of anything, an endless possibility in front of you, what do you ask?
I think about the first thing that jumps to Caius's head is redemption, but he hesitates for a second, and through this haze of, the primordial forms and anything, sees the faces of his 3 brothers. And he says, I want my brothers back, alive.
Then it shall be. You don't see an immediate effect. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Who would like to go next? Esther?
Oh, fuck. Esther hears the question, and she's still looking down at this thing in her hand, and just a tear kind of falls from her cheek, and
As it does, it lands on the snout of the dragon, and you see it almost drink it up through the nose.
I'm
As its
sorry.
scales will kind of like rattle backwards, and it seems to take a great joy in this.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend.
What is your greatest?
It's foolish, but I wish for my daughter, the one I lost, to be alive as she was when I lost her, a baby.
Then
So
shall
I
be.
could-
And again, no immediate effect, but we'll get to that. Rosalind.
The planes and the relationships are damaged and becoming more so. I wish for that damage to be repaired and stabilized so that it will not grow worse again. So that we can bring an end to this war if that was truly the reason for it.
Then it shall be.
Oh shit.
An opportunity will be granted to.
Sorry, what?
An opportunity will be
Okay.
granted?
Yes.
An opportunity will be granted, yeah.
And okay, I might get to campaign 2 faster than I thought.
Shit, okay.
As each of you hear this, as you're all coming away right now,
What about first?
we'll get to that, don't worry.
All right.
Things in there.
A single thought comes to your mind, an understanding. The Zodiacs are just pieces of the puzzle.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Someone is playing the game. Someone who has not a stake in any of these planes that are at war. And that's your
And that's
Pardon?
your what?
true threat.
Truth. True threat. Okay.
True threat.
True threat.
You cut off just enough at just the right places.
Do we get a
I'm trying,
name?
guys, I'm sorry. You do not get a name,
Okay.
as it is not just one name.
Oh no.
Ophiuchus,
Oh,
the
what?
13th Zodiac.
Oh, what?
Ophiuchus?
13th Zodiac.
Fucking do it.
Fuck, I fucking knew it! I knew that was where this shit was going.
All
And you all
right.
get an image one you've seen before, of a yellow face with blank eye.
Oh my fuck! I've seen this dude.
Yeah, sorry, yellow face with blank eyes?
Esther,
When have we seen
Esther.
this?
Esther's gonna
this is who has
scream.
taken this is who has taken your power.
Yep,
And Ashta, your tutor was blinded by this.
Ah!
I knew it. I knew this was. I fucking knew it, yo.
I thought the guy
No.
he got blinded by like a thing with multiple faces.
This is one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Esther nearly screams.
But we'll get to that. Fergus, what is your greatest desire?
Knowledge.
Then it shall be.
Oh, that's a tricky one.
In 26 boys?
Fergus.
Int, bro.
You may raise your intelligence to 24.
Holy shit!
I was close.
Yeah.
24! What?
You know that
Literally galaxy brain.
Literally
This is-
galaxy brain.
this is greater than any humanoid who has not approached demigodhood.
Fergus.
I have a +7.
I should have said dexterity now.
Dude, bro, what the f***? +11.
And Xenia. What is
Yes.
your greatest desire?
Xena's gonna look down at their breastplate and look back at the little dragonling and just a decision. The decision.
The opportunity or the result?
The opportunity.
Then it shall be. And the dragon disappears.
Oh,
Do we hear what each other said?
Yes.
Alright.
Oh,
Oh,
you
shit.
all got what came after Rosalind's.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
when the dragon disappears, does time unfreeze?
It does not.
Esther's just gonna look at the group and just. That was the person who took my abilities. That was the one on the pirate ship in the Astral
Memory of
Sea.
them too.
If
What?
we can bring this, we have to talk to Aquarius. We have to talk to any other Zodiac who might. I need to talk to all of you.
I don't know.
Leo
what-
contacted
like,
me a
Fergus is like,
while ago.
I don't
What?
know
What?
What?
There was never an opportunity. I was going to talk to you all but before we got to Fluss, but then this happened, and
And for a moment, time resumes, but not how you used to it. Instead, you sit in this gray castle. Xenia, you are very familiar with this. And the Raven Queen stands in front of
Oh no.
Crossbow out.
Oh dear.
Ashta.
Fergus-
As you begin to draw your crossbow, for a moment it feels like your hands age the entirety until your death and they turn to skeletons and crumble in your hand.
What the
And
fuck?
then you return back, and the crossbow is back at your belt.
Xenia turns to
As the
face
Raven Queen, the Raven turns to you, Ashton, and says, "You are in my realm. Do not
Has to
dare
be.
raise it."
Why are we here?
Xenia
And
takes her sword
Ashton,
out.
you are snapped back to the castle.
where
Dan takes their
where
sword
is
out.
he? What did you do?
Back where he wishes to be. Xenia,
Xenia's sword is out.
you have asked for a decision.
Xenia points their sword at their stomach.
It is yours to make.
Xenia thrusts the sword into their stomach.
Xenia!
Zini, what are you?
Oh my god, what?
And you guys watch as the sword passes through Xenia. It doesn't come out the other side. Instead, you see a shattering effect, like Xenia's entire body is made of mirror,
Xenia?
and they explode.
What did you do?
What
Right,
is going
no
on?
choice.
I don't.
And from the pieces, you watch as they reassemble into 4 bodies.
Into
One,
4 bodies?
the cleric Xenia, that you're all very familiar with. with full knowledge and life in their eyes once more. The second, the druid Xenia, bright red hair, looking not joyful, but at peace once more. A third one, dark skin, perhaps a drow, male. Xenia, if you'd like to describe them.
The drow with very dark, short hair, white, still with very, very tight curls like Xenia's used to. Wearing a dark purple breastplate, a cape, billowing down his back, a shield on one arm and a rapier at his other side. He stands a bit taller than Xenia, but looks more cowarding than anything. He doesn't seem strong, but he does seem powerful. The one beside... Yes. The one beside him is an Eladrin, which you recognize as a winter Eladrin. Seemingly female or near ambiguous. Billowing, silvery blue hair down their back. Same silvery blue eyes, skin pale as porcelain. On their shoulders, a mantle of very thick furs that go down to around where their elbows are. And a cloak of very light blue. They look at you all with intent. 2 daggers, seemingly on their legs. And you see their hands don't look as the same as the rest of their face. Their hands are more frostbitten, and their hair a little bit more frizzy.
And
Xenia,
as they each appear in front of you, fully aware, fully cognizant, I ask you, Ty,
Yeah?
which one will you be playing for the time being?
Ooh. You know what?
Oh shit.
I'll play Idwis. I'll do Idwis for a little bit.
What? Interesting.
What is
I've always wanted to play a charisma caster.
name? Idwis.
Idwis, I'll spell it.
Why is it different than Xenia?
Someone else other than Xena's gonna come back and just get shot.
Idwis. I can give you the names, because that's the reason I've been calling Xenia Talsons for a while. Like, I've been calling the cleric Talsons for a while.
Yeah, I know, we need differentiation. It was on the tip of my tongue to be like,
Yep.
who do we call
We have Xenia.
all of...
We have Xenia,
Oh,
the druid.
this has been planned for so long, y'all.
6 months.
I was expecting this to come like next month or so. There will be art at some point, I promise. It's
Yeah,
just
we
currently-
wanted to
it's
wait
currently
for art.
commissioned. It's just being made right now.
Yeah.
You made a commission?
Yeah.
We did.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
Okay, which one is
I'm sorry,
Idwis?
Arl. We couldn't tell you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's alright. It's alright. I'm excited.
It's okay.
I'm
That's alright.
excited.
That's alright. What the fuck?
The Eladrin's name is Idwis,
Uh-huh.
and I'll spell out the name of the drow.
Just real quick, how the fuck is this possible?
Say
Pardon?
again.
How is the Raven Queen able to do this?
Oh,
God.
Scott, remember when I was at your house and Conrad kept me after session for a conversation and we were up for like 2 more hours and you went to bed?
Yes.
That's when that happened, but we planned it beforehand. That's when it happened in character. That's how
No,
I knew.
but I mean in the sense of how is the Raven Queen able to do all this kind of stuff?
I don't know, she threatened it.
Threatened
I
it.
will, I will remind you, the Raven Queen is a god, and the god of elves who no longer believe in Corlon, but also refuse to defect to Lolth.
Hey guys, you wanna know what's also fun about Idwis? I'm playing my worst fear. A D6 hit die.
Oh no.
Welcome to my life.
Oh,
Welcome to the club.
yeah. I'll tell you the class afterwards.
The
Okay.
health pool for this party just keeps dropping.
Ty, welcome to the club.
It's
Like
a
a
very high
fucking
constitution.
stone.
It is a very high constitution, I will reassure.
Alright, I'm gonna talk to you later. Ask if the tough feet can be included in Ash's little boon there.
I will remind you, you were just given the power to protect everyone you care about.
Yep. Okay, yeah, got it.
We'll get to that.
Yep.
Look at
So-
that. Oh god, I
Yeah, you
Can't
don't
wait
know
to
this
see
new
if
body.
Caius's brothers are still alive, are now alive again.
So,
Ta-da!
as you guys see these 4 beings in front of you, Talsant,
Yep.
The cleric fades into shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Xenia, the druid, disappears into a flurry of flames and leaves. And Exonia, like a single drop of blood, dips into the ground, into a red pool.
Edoris will turn around to the party and just go, well, this is gonna be fun.
Ah,
And who
Oh.
are you?
Hey.
Name's Edois.
And
not Xenia?
what? Where is Xenia?
I'm Xenia, but I'm Xenia from some other thing.
May I? This is
Huh.
incredible and amazing and a little bit confusing. And I would just
Well-
like to momentarily point out that we were planning on going Lucerne and talking to your family. And this might be a
Fergus
little
raises
difficult
his
to
hand.
explain.
Eh.
Fergus raises his hand.
Yes. Fervis, I think the memories say.
What the hell is going on?
So you're
Fergus?
not Xenia.
I don't think any of us really know.
Well, I'm Xenia. I can explain.
Then explain.
Edois is Xenia's name.
What?
That Edois is Xenia's name.
So Xenia wasn't her actual name.
It was, but it was given by their fathers. Edois is Xenia's mother's name given to Edois.
Birth name.
Okay. Birth name. Understand. Now, why are Talsint and Xenia so but you?
Tawson's been upset for like months. Oh my gosh. Xenia is Xenia. I don't know what they were getting into, but they're and I haven't really talked to Azonia much. He's not great. Well, it's fun.
How do you all interact? Is what I'm asking.
Well, we all sort of know each other's memories. We all have the memories.
You are all same
We're all the same soul.
soul split into 4 different pieces.
Yes.
And when was the split taking place?
For when Xenia decided to stab a sword into their stomach.
No, when did this split take place? How long have you?
When Xenia stabbed the sword into their stomach, I was a concept for a while.
So you've never truly existed.
Not really. Blessed be Moonbow, though, for making me look this good.
Blessed be bro.
Blessed be Moonbow.
I don't. Okay.
Conrad, do you have Edoris's sheet?
I can open it.
Please, I don't know her. I don't know her stats.
No, that's fair.
Aurel's just like, we just got new banner art. What the fuck, guys?
I'm so sorry, Ariel. We keep doing this.
Yeah, Ariel.
It's okay.
Ariel,
every fucking time, I swear to God, these fucking
No.
hooligans.
Art,
Ariel, when
the
you
art
drop-
for these has to be fluid.
Ariel, I want to be honest. Ever since you dropped the art, I've been drafting an apology letter to you, and I just don't know what to say.
Yeah, no, me and Ty have mentioned multiple times how bad we felt that every time you drop art, we're about to change the character.
Yeah, and I was the one last time too because I did the cleric switch.
Oof, a big mood.
But
Yeah.
Fun,
I was
fun
like,
fact,
I'm
Ash
used
has
to
no
it.
ability changes his hair color.
Xenia's new ability
So-
changes their body.
God is cursed.
God, it hurts me for my hubris and work is never finished. Fuck.
That's Ariel right now. Poor Ariel. I'm sorry.
Oh, I
don't worry,
have a
someone else is
fun
doing the
spell.
art. I'm so, sorry, guys. But
I feel like I also had a hand in this. What the fuck?
you're good. Don't
Should
worry.
have just stayed with Caius.
I at
You're
least knew
absolved.
about yours before I did the art.
Okay, cool.
I did.
Also, if anyone, I'm the one who's been cursed by hubris from a god.
The
Yeah. So
Okay.
the Raven Queen looks down upon each of you and waves their hand and says, "Leave my presence." And you'll return back to the castle. Ashta, the memory of what happened is given to you from basically Rosalind's perspective.
Hmm.
And the Raven Queen just whispers in your ear, "Consider it a gift. Curse me."
How oddly kind.
I will remember this slight.
Oh.
The whole party hears that.
Uh-oh.
What slight? Something that Ashley did, or is it
And you guys immediately get a ping from Issa.
Yes.
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
A few people who look kind of like Kai's without his hair dyed, and one of them's holding a baby. She just appeared near the lake.
We know
Esther
what's happening.
takes off
We're
in a
coming.
sprint.
Well, Caius is running. Caius is
Esther's
running.
Luis casts his dimension door, because I think I have that.
Esther's gone. You have
Ash
never
just
seen,
gone
You do.
radiant.
I do have dimension door.
you have never seen Esther run as fast as she has now.
Ashta
running
pulls up.
faster.
Ashta pulls up the wings, whistles for Lucy, and is like keeping a hand on and tells whoever to jump on him.
Caius is double dashing towards the lake.
Rosalind is walking in a leisurely way and asking Issa to meet her at the front door, and she'll explain everything that she can and understands, which might not be everything.
I just hop and disappear.
Yep. If everyone else is like taken off, and Ash just like sit there, like, oh, I guess no one's going for the horse, except Rosalind.
No,
He's
it's...
like, should we go pick up Issa?
Yes. Thank you.
So, as you each run to the front of the castle, and Caius, your vision's good enough, you see it from the distance. Those are your siblings. Carrying a child you've never seen before, seemingly a newborn.
Can I please describe the child?
We'll begin that next session.
No. You, dude.
As I now have a lot of writing I need to do.
No, the thing is though, boys, I work next Saturday.
Let's at
We'll
least
make it
have...
for a day.
Let's at least have
we'll work it.
Esther,
we'll do
please.
it. We'll do it for a day you don't work.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
make it a day that you don't work. Don't worry.
I don't work Sunday. That's Sunday.
We
I
will
don't
do
work
Sunday in that case, as long as everyone can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But we're playing that after session.
I can do Sunday. I have Sunday.
Okay.
All right. Is that fucking it for this session?
Fuck.
That's it for the session.
Alright.
Y'all.
Fuck.
Bloody hell. Next week. Maybe then we'll get Caius to Fluss.
Mm.
You might get Caius' real name next week.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
Also, yeah, y'all are gonna see a really different side of Esther.
Hi, sorry for doing that. I just couldn't think of anything else.
No, it's good. I like
Oh no,
it.
that made total
Yes.
sense.
No,
Dude,
that's
oh my god.
absolutely perfect.
Caius' promoter is gonna shit his pants.
Also,
It's like, wait, what?
Ty, I'm so happy you did that when.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to have on the recording? Because I'm about to end it.
pre-warning, Ty, Ashta's gonna be fucking pissed about this new one.
Great. It's better than the drow.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's fine. He's just
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna be
definitely
happy.
What?
Y'all are gonna
fuck?
see a really, really, really interesting side of Esther.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, yeah.
Caius, hey, don't downplay the fact that
Is
I
the
just
recording
got 3
done?
of my dead brothers back.
Is
Hold
the
on,
recording done, Ariel?
Not yet. I'm waiting for the okay. Everybody
Oh,
keeps
yeah.
adding on.
Kai's manager is gonna choke on his fucking coffee when he sees 3 more amazing, like, popular wrestlers come back from the fucking dead.
Yeah,
Gimmicks he can run with this.
I'm gonna say, by the
Okay.
way, everyone take inspiration. But
I already
Wait,
have.
can
But
you give
thank
me
you.
Luis
I put it on the
Already
sheet. down. So, that'll be it for this recording. Welcome to the party manages to completely mess with my plans. This has been
Oh, we
fun.
threw a wrench in the whole thing.
Oh shit!
Oh, it's not a wrench. I fully expected this to happen at some point. I was
Just
very
not
curious
now?
to what all these were going to be.
This is Chekhov's monkey wrench, and you just left the engine open, dude.
Yeah. Boom. It's going to be a great
Welcome
time.
That's
to
great.
2020.
Yeah.
God, this was awesome.
Till next
So
time.
Hindsight
Conrad?
is 2020. Can everyone know the session?
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.